podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This show originally aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, November 30th, 2019. This is episode 1648. Enjoy. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by DigitalOcean. DigitalOcean offers the simplest, most developer-friendly cloud platform that scales as you grow. Get started today for free with a free $50 credit at do.co/twit. And by Brave. Brave is the browser reimagined. Switch now to get unmatched speed and privacy, and stop trackers from following you. Save battery life and earn rewards by opting into privacy-respecting ads. Brave is free and easy to switch to. Go to brave.com/twit and switch to Brave today. And by LastPass, a personal password manager and identity solution for businesses, all in one. You only need one master password, and LastPass remembers the rest. Visit LastPass.com/twit to learn more. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Yeah, it's Tech Guy time. Time to talk about, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, all the rigmarole that we talk about, it's changing our lives, all this stuff. I tell you, I got to say, let me give you the phone number before I launch into my little sermon here. Phone number is 8888-ASK-LEO, 888-827-5536. That's toll-free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. And, of course, outside that area, you can still call, but you have to use Skype or something like that. Skype out will work just fine. And because it's a free call in the U.S., it shouldn't cost you anything. 8888-ASK-LEO. Got it? Got it. Good. I like to do a sermon, a weekly sermon. The thing that got me today is I'm seeing this more and more about how this kind of sentiment that's growing that big tech is destroying the world. And while I understand people are very concerned about privacy, let's not become privacy Puritans. Privacy is an important thing. It's I think it's a very simple answer to this, which is all you got to do is insist, and I think we could do this with legal, with a law that says if a company collects information about users, in fact, even if it doesn't, if every company that's online or sells products to the end user, and I don't mean just tech companies, any company should state very clearly what information about its customers it collects, what it does with that, who it sells it to, that kind of thing. They should be required to keep it secure. There should be penalties for lying, severe penalties for lying. Their privacy statement should be accurate and truthful and complete. And there should be penalties for failing to secure that. Like what we see nowadays, every company in the world seems to be just leaking information right and left. What was it? AT&T just leaked a bunch of information about its customers. It just seems nonstop. That seems like a simple thing. And I think companies are going to want to do this because I think the backlash is starting. And they realize that if they don't do that, it could be a lot worse. And I don't think a lot worse is good for us because, honestly, I think technology is changing the world in a very positive direction in many cases. I don't want to be so negative about big tech. I think what Google's doing is amazing. At the same time, they need to be told you have to disclose what you're doing and we have to choose. And you need to give customers the right to choose so that if somebody doesn't want to, have their information sold or thinks that a company's not doing right by them, they have the opportunity to say, well, that's called the free market. That's what this country's all about. I just read an article. I think it was really actually a scurrilous article in Gizmodo today by one of Gizmodo's senior editors, basically saying if you see a good deal on Amazon's Ring doorbell on Black Friday, do not under any circumstances buy it. Do not buy that doorbell, that video doorbell, whatever because, and he brings up two things. One is a really old security flaw that was fixed before it ever even became public by Ring, that allowed somebody who, if they could unscrew your doorbell and take it and plug it into a device, they could get your Wi-Fi login and password, which by itself is not a horrible security violation, and they had to remove it from the door, and it was fixed before it became public. And yet and it was 2 years ago. He's using this. He's using the other thing that Ring's been doing, which I think does upset people. Ring's been doing deals with police departments all over the country. Now, I honestly think police departments do this with the absolute best intentions. In fact, I even think Ring did it with the absolute best intentions. The idea is that the video doorbell is capturing video, not just of your front porch, but also of the street in front of you, and that could be useful for law enforcement. And Ring is making deals with law enforcement. We'll give you some doorbells you can distribute to your community, because it is good for communities. Neighborhood policing really does reduce crime. And in return, you can get the video from any Ring doorbell. That's the problem. Oh, and by the way, you have to keep this a secret. And that I agree with the gadget editor. I'm sorry, Gizmodo editor who wrote this. That's not good. And that's an example of something that if Amazon were forced to disclose what information it collects and what it does with it, we would have known about it all along. And then you could make the decision, well, maybe I shouldn't get this doorbell. Unfortunately, they didn't, and they got caught. And so that gives it a really kind of a nasty, like they're trying to sneak something by. I don't think they are. And honestly, I think there is some value, some real value, to having those video doorbells. I love, now I had a Ring, and in fact, they were a sponsor of our podcast for a couple of years till Amazon bought them. And I had a Ring, and I was very happy with it and happy to do the ads for it. I replaced it with Google's Nest Hello doorbell a few months ago, mostly because of the better capabilities of the Nest. I have one of those Google frames, and when somebody comes to my door, the Google video camera says, someone's at your front door, shows video, and it does it almost immediately, which was always a problem with Ring. It was a little slow. You know, by the time somebody rang the doorbell and I saw it, they were gone. But with the Hello, it's immediate. And now here's the thing then, the people are going to get up in arms about this, I guarantee you. One of the features of the Nest Hello Cam is you can identify people's faces. So you can go through all the people who've been to your door and say, yeah, I know them. That's my son. Yeah, that's my wife. Yeah, that's our UPS guy. And then it'll say, Michael's at the door. It'll identify him. Or it'll say an unidentified person's at the door. It even knows if a package has been left. And it'll say it, and it also send me a notification on my phone. A package was just left at your door. I find that incredibly useful, and I like knowing who's at my front door. And if it's somebody I don't know, I like that even more. I want to know that. If they're sharing it with the world, maybe that's not so good. Maybe my friends and family don't like it if I identify them, and then their face recognition information is being shared with somebody like the U.S. government or police departments. Maybe they don't like that. In fact, the Hello doorbell even says in the software, no, but don't do this if it's illegal in your area. And then, that's about it. It's the mildest warning ever. I don't have a problem with this. I think this is great. I think there's some real value to it. And this is my big problem with people who say, just don't buy this thing. It's terrible. That's not useful. There are a lot of values. There's a lot of value, in my opinion. I want to know what you think, but there's a lot of value, in my opinion, in personal technology. And we're getting things, the world is better in so many respects, so many interesting ways because of technology. And I would hate for us to become Luddites. That's the term used, named after a probably mythical character named Ned Ludd, who, when the jacquard looms were introduced in the newly industrialized England in the 17th century, Ned led a revolt of other weavers who were hand weavers, saying, "Oh, these are going to put us out of work," and they destroyed the looms. And these people were called Luddites. And today we call Luddites anybody who hates technology just because it's technology. Now, if you were a weaver in the 1600s and you were losing your job to an automated loom, I get why you'd be upset. I do. But it doesn't mean that we shouldn't have automated looms. In fact, everything you wear today is made on an automated device of some kind, there wouldn't be enough clothes to clothe us. And it would be a lot more expensive if they all had to be hand woven. I know my mother was a hand weaver. It took her quite a while to make me that rug or that sweater. It took a long time. I don't think that's a bad thing to have automated looms. And yes, there's a disruption. There's a technological disruption. If you're a coal miner, I understand why you would be upset that coal is not, it's kind of going out of business. But you know what? There's other people in the world, and frankly, coal-fired power plants aren't really that good for the world. And so I'm sorry you lost your job. I am. I really am. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't consider these technological alternatives. That's all I'm saying. Let's not, I don't actually like this metaphor I'm going to use anyway. Let's not throw out the baby with the bathwater. That would be another thing. Call me and give me a better one. That's just, I find that depressing. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. There's got to be a better saying than that. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. Website techguylabs.com. Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guru, coming up. I guess Black Friday really didn't end, did it? Cyber Monday's coming up. He'll continue to have some great AV deals, and we have a lot more show ahead. So 8888 Ask Leo, techguylabs.com. Do you still like this theme song, Kim Schaffer? She's the unbreakable Kimmy Schaffer, ladies and gentlemen.
I like how it makes everyone in the studio dance.
It's such a good song. Kimmy don't take no Schaffer. Hello, Kim Schaffer, the unbreakable phone angel.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
I don't have a singing voice, so I won't torture you with that.
Thank you. My birthday was yesterday.
I know.
Yesterday.
But everything was closed, so I know you.
I know. I try to
that.
plan my birthday at a time when no one's around.
Yeah, you planned it for the day after Thanksgiving.
No one is around. Oh yeah, it was awesome. Occasionally, it is on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, mine has fallen on Easter, so.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you. That's nice.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I hope you celebrate big.
Yeah. Well, we went out to dinner. It was fine. It was. It's funny. I notice. Like my wife's a big birthday person. Some people, and I guess it's how they grew up, birthdays are like a super important holiday. In some countries, it's not the birthday, it's your saint day, right?
Your what?
Your saint day. In Athens, the birthdays are not so celebrated. In Greece, it's your saint day, that you're the saint you're named after, or your patron saint.
I certainly was not named after a saint.
Kimmy, Saint Kimmy. She's the patron saint of nail art, so I think that's really good.
Of nail art?
I don't know. I made that up.
The girl with no nail art.
No, it says the girl with no nails. Well, it's not your fault. That's what your mom named you. She obviously, she had high hopes.
No, I was named after the Kimberley diamond mines in Africa.
Oh.
Because my
The
birthday...
blood diamond mines? Nice.
Yeah, well, maybe they didn't know that back then.
No, they didn't. It's not your fault.
But yeah, my dad was flipping through the National Geographic, so I was going to be born mid-April. That's the diamond is the stone, and I think I've told you the story before. But anyway.
No, you haven't. This is the first time I've ever heard it. That's wonderful.
It's Kimberley Ley, like the diamond mines.
Oh.
Anyway, that's the origin of the name.
I had no idea. Well, I guess that means for your birthday you're getting diamonds.
I wish.
Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah, diamonds are a girl's best friend. So, you've been answering the phone since the wee hours of the morning, and I know you got here early to avoid the what do they call it? The atmospheric river?
The atmospheric river. Yeah, you know what?
Headed
the
our
second
way.
I walked out the door, it started raining on me. So I got to drive in it all the way up
When
here.
did we start getting colorful weather names? Earlier this week, we were supposed to have a bomb cyclone.
Oh, yes, I heard about that one. What is that?
I don't know. And now an atmospheric river is coming. Man, in my day,
It was rain.
it was
snow.
rain. It's going to rain hard. It's going to rain really hard. It's raining cats and dogs. That's about it. That's all. That was the only. Now we got very colorful meteorological names. I think the weathermen. There's a whole channel devoted to weather. I think that they are bored and they have to come up with
And
stuff.
they're wrong 50% of the time.
They still. By the way, that has not changed.
That is not
That
changed.
has not changed. Who should I take first?
Let's go to the person who's calling from the furthest. Alan in Adelaide, Australia.
Adelaide. I love that. Thank you, Kim.
You're welcome.
Hello, Adam. It's good to talk to you. Should I, Alan, should I shout, hello, Alan, all the way down under?
No, Leo, I can hear you just fine. And by the way, happy birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. What time is it in Adelaide?
It is coming up on 6 a.m. over here.
You got up early to join us. Thank you.
I'm actually up late, but whatever.
Oh, man. You've been up all night?
Yep.
Holy cow.
I have a delayed sleep phase disorder. This is normal for me.
Do you, so you sleep at odd times?
Basically, yes.
Yeah. And you're used to that? Does that bother you?
It's, put it this way, I have to be on disability because of it.
Oh, yeah.
Down a job or anything, yeah.
It can't work.
It's next to impossible, but
yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Get around.
Yeah.
It happens.
Well, I guess it does. Is it a hormonal thing? Is it a brain disorder? What is it? Do they know?
They don't know. That's the thing. Like, I wish there were some kind of treatment for this because I'd actually like to function as a normal person.
Of course you would.
And have it.
Yeah.
Everyone else.
So is it just you sleep in the middle of the day, or is it just you don't know when you're going to sleep?
It's whenever, basically. It's to some extent, I can use Valium to kind of normalize it a little bit. Yeah. For a few days, I'm okay, and then I just fall back out of it again. Yeah. And I don't like the drugs anyway. No. It's not a good way of doing it.
No. It's a shame that the civilized society requires that we all be awake at the same time. It should.
I agree.
You should be able to.
There's this thing called the 28-hour day, and I think we should do that totally.
Good. I like it. As long as we get rid of daylight saving time, or you guys call it summertime, I'm okay.
Yeah, exactly.
What can I do for you, Alan?
So the reason for my call is I am basically in deep stuff, shall we say. So I was running a D-Link 2-bay network-attached storage enclosure, specifically a DNS-327L with a RAID 1 in it. And I've moved those drives over to a DNS-340L, which is a
everybody across the country has just tuned out, going, I don't know what is he talking about? That's okay. I understand. You got what they call a disk array, which is multiple disks in an enclosure, and that can be done for redundancy or speed. But if you break the array, if something goes wrong with the array, is that what's happened?
Something went wrong.
Yeah. Horribly
wrong. Yeah. So I wanted to convert from a RAID 1 to a RAID 5, which is supported by the 340L, or at least it's supposed to be.
Yeah, RAID 5 is redundant, and that's nice because RAID 5 will keep your data safe.
Well, it got hung up on the partitioning phase, and we went through tier tech support, and we had to forcibly reboot it.
Is that your only copy of your stuff?
Yeah.
And see, RAID 1 at least is redundant. You have two drives. One's got the original, and one's got the backup. Right. So, word of warning to anybody doing this, back it up before you do this kind of a big change, because this can always happen. I'm sure you can get it all. You're not going to get your data back. You can get the drives back and everything working, but your data is now stored on these drives, and it's not stored in a normal way. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Because it's RAID 1, you might be able to take one drive out and recover it. Depends. How far along the process of converting to RAID 5 did you get?
See, this is the problem. I don't know. Even their tier 2 support didn't know. Like, we don't know if it simply got hung up on partitioning and it just.
See, that would be awesome, because then all your data is still there. But if it started to write, if it partitioned and it started to write and then it got hung up, it may have overwritten a considerable amount of data.
That's what we don't know, because there's stupid firmware. It didn't really say one way or the other what was going on with it, and even their own engineers couldn't tell us.
Well, the good news is you were in RAID 1. Yeah. So RAID 1, as far as I know, I'm not familiar with this particular hardware device. I mean, I am, but I don't know how they do it. RAID 1 typically would simply be one drive that is a completely normal drive and is automatically mirrored to the second drive. If that's the case, you could take the drive out of the enclosure. The enclosure at this point is in your way. and put it, ideally, if it's a SATA drive, just put it inside a tower enclosure. Then you'd have full access to the SATA. And you might actually just be able to look at it and say, oh, yeah, there's the data. It may not be hidden in any way.
Well, that's assuming the partitioning is information.
Well,
still
yeah,
there.
you don't. There's plenty of recovery tools that will look at the data without consulting the FAT or the partition. So that they can just say, here's the data, and those are affordable and easily used. That's the first thing I'd try is just take it out of the enclosure, and hope that drive is just a normal drive that's been mirrored. If that's the case, it should be easy to recover.
So we're not worried about possibly making any further changes to the disk.
Well, you have here's the beauty. You might have two of them. Yeah, I mean, if in forensics, and they do this because of chain of custody more than anything else, but in forensics, before they mess with the drive, they image it, and then they mess with the image. And you could certainly do that. Make an image of the drive. Low-level imager won't care what it looks like. It'll just make a sector-by-sector copy onto a second drive, and then you mess with the second drive. That way you're not. You're not potentially mucking up the original. Right. So that's, if you want to be extra cautious, you could do that. But honestly, what I would do is get there's Recover or one of the many drive, Ease US has some free drive recovery tools, one of the free drive recovery tools, and just say, can you see any files? Don't do anything. Don't write anything. Just can you see any files? Most of these tools, the idea is they will not write to the original anyway. They want to write to a backup disk as they read the original. So they're not going to, in most cases, they're not going to muck up the original.
The main issue being getting another cheap 8-terabyte hard drive, which that's kind of the reason why. I just saw,
I couldn't believe it. I almost fell over a 10-terabyte drive for $250.
Oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
Dang, I wish I waited for Black Friday.
Uh-huh. Drives have gotten dirt cheap. So,
yeah, not in Australia.
No, I know you're paying a little premium because of the exchange, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think your data's all there. That's what I think, because you're using RAID 1. At least if you're using RAID 0, you'd be out of luck. That's the striping RAID. Then you're out of luck. The RAID fails, all your data's gone because there's really no easy way to recover that data because it's spread across a couple of drives. RAID 1, though, is basically one drive is a normal drive, and then the hardware and the RAID array or the software automatically writes twice, once to the original, once to the backup. In which case, you should have two identical drives. Yeah, maybe one of them or both of them, the partition table's messed up. But that's my point, and you don't know, I know. But whatever, if it got all the way through the RAID 5 repartitioning, you might be out of luck. The podcast today brought to you by my favorite company for enabling the modern web and modern startups, DigitalOcean. It's also great for anybody who wants to learn web technologies. DigitalOcean offers the simplest, most developer-friendly cloud platform. It's not about storing data. It's about your cloud apps. It makes it easy to manage and scale apps with an intuitive API, kind of a huge number of options, including multiple storage options, integrated firewalls. You could do load balancing. It's great for me because I just want to say, I want to set up a email server or a WordPress instance, and I can do it with pretty much one click of the mouse. It's great if you've got a SaaS application you're ready to roll out, and that's the beauty of it. You can do it inexpensively on a development server and without doing anything else, put it into production, add all the capabilities you need. No wonder more than 1 million developers use and trust DigitalOcean. One virtual machine or 10,000. You could spin up a virtual machine. Shall I do it? In 60 seconds or less. Let's create our new DO product. I'm going to say Leo's WordPress. How about that? And it's WordPress instance. And I'm going to say you can do just for trying out DO, class project, website or blog. Oh, that's what that would be for. Now let's create the project. I can move resources into it. Let's skip that for right now. And I can just get started with the droplets. These one-click droplets are phenomenal. You choose from the operating system you want, Debian, Ubuntu, FreeBSD, CentOS, or containers, yes, Kubernetes, Docker, Rancher OS, Fedora Atomic, Core OS, and look at the one-button marketplace. These are all one-button installs So it makes it easy for you to do whatever you want. What did I say I was going to do? A WordPress installation? Okay, there it is, WordPress. It'll be on Ubuntu 18.04. I can choose a starter plan or performance plans with optimization and CPUs and so forth. I'm a cheapskate. Let me go all the way down to $5 a month and $0.007 an hour. I can add block storage. I choose the data center I want. I can add all sorts of nice features like IPv6 and monitoring and private networking. I always use my SSH keys to log in. That's nice. Shall we just set up my new WordPress instance? I've done all the configuration. Now watch. In less than a minute, I will have a WordPress server with its own public IP address ready to mess with. SSH login and everything. They've got, and if you're at all puzzled about how to do anything, they have over 2,000 open source tutorials that'll help you stay up to date on the latest open source software, languages, and frameworks. Modernize your cloud infrastructure and do it fast with DigitalOcean's marketplace. 100 one-click apps. Everything you could possibly want. Oh, my server's ready. do.co/twit today. Sign up and receive a $50 credit. do.co/twit. Free $50 credit at DigitalOcean. Designed for developers, built for businesses.
Can I get knocked over?
It's time for Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek, contributor at techhive.com. He is. Do you go out of the house on Black Friday?
No.
No. I went. So Lisa and I had a bad idea. We thought, it was after. It was late in the day. Yeah. We had a little time to kill before dinner. She said, "Let's go to the outlet malls." I said, "Oh, okay,
sure."
That was a bad. There was not a parking space. And actually, I had been driving earlier that day, driving by, and almost got hit by people who were so irate about having to wait in line to make the left turn into the outlet mall. Man. They were zipping out of the line, and one of them didn't look and almost zipped right into me. I don't like Black Friday, but good news.
No, certainly not going out to it. Yeah.
You can shop online nowadays.
Exactly.
And Black Friday this year, because it's so late in the month, has really been it's still on, right? As far as most of the deals. Yeah.
I mean, I watched the news last night, and there were these. Best Buy was open an extra hour beyond its time, and people were just, one woman came out and said, "We came in to get a 43-inch TV, but the larger ones are so cheap. I just bought a 65."
Yeah. I saw a 75 for $1,000.
Oh, yeah. In my research for Black Friday, I saw a 75 for $750.
Unbelievable.
But... And I tried to make this point last week, and I'll make it again.
Yes.
These are unbelievable. You go a 75-inch TV for $750 or $1,000. That I've got to get one. Well, yes, but you'll have compromised performance. Those TVs are simply not as good as what I would want. Now, maybe they're fine for a bunch of people.
That's my question, because you have magic golden eyes. And it's hard for me not to stare deep into them. But not everybody cares.
That's true. It's true. And if you don't care, then sure,
if you don't
go for it.
If you can't see the difference, does it matter?
No, of course not. If you can't see the difference.
Yeah.
I think it has more to do with education, though. I mean, I don't have golden eyes by birth, by DNA.
Oh, I beg to differ.
I studied and I practiced, and I got other people's opinions on things and learned what to look for. And once you learn what to look for, you can't unsee it.
Yeah, unfortunately. So don't learn.
No, I don't advocate that. I want people to have a good experience, a better experience.
I have to tell you, last night we watched the Downton Abbey movie. I'm a Downton Abbey fan.
Okay.
And it's
a little too slow for my
I know, it's not for most people. If you're into the Marvel comic universe, you'll wonder, where's all the shooting?
Yeah, right. My wife loves Downton Abbey.
I love it. Yeah. But the movie is shot 4K HDR.
Oh, man. Well, it must look great.
It does. And I think that they made an extra effort to do the long beauty shots, and it really was spectacularly gorgeous.
Yep.
And I don't know, I don't have your magically trained eyes, but boy, when a movie or a show really looks good, it's hard not to say, "Wow, that's
right."
Good.
And then when you go back to see a regular, quote unquote, regular show, you're going to notice, that doesn't look as good.
Yeah, it's a good point. Some shows it doesn't matter. I watched The Irishman, Martin Scorsese's magnum opus on Netflix, and I don't think they shot. They shot it, some of it on 35 and some of it on digital.
Digital, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of digital because there's a lot of digital effects. But it wasn't one of those. His stuff isn't really designed to grab the eye. He's not going for beauty shots.
No, he's going for storytelling. I mean, he's one of the ones who sort of said, "Oh, Marvel movies aren't cinema."
Yeah. Well, his is cinema.
Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
I thought I'd do something crazy because it's a 3-hour movie anyway. It's long.
Oh man.
But I thought
if you watch it at home, you can of course pause it and take a break.
It is. Netflix is made for this.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd do something different, and I watched Mean Streets first, which is also on Netflix, and that was his first gangster movie, really his first movie of all, with De Niro, 1972.
Oh wow!
And they're bookends. It's almost as if he made. It's not quite the same movie, but he made. Yeah. It's the same guys. It's the same wise guys.
Yeah. Only 30, 40, 50 years later.
Yeah. So it's really a good thing to watch together, not in one night.
That's actually really kind of an interesting idea. Sure.
Yeah, and if you're a Scorsese fan, it's really worth doing. But it's a long movie, and I know a lot of people say it's Irishman's too long. But that is an interesting trend, isn't it? Last year, Roma, Alfonso Cuarón's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Netflix. Yep. This year. Yep. I'm sure an inside track for Oscars in many, many categories. Also Netflix. They show it in the theaters for a few days just to get the qualification.
To be eligible, right? Yeah. And there's plenty of uproar in Hollywood among some circles about, is such a model really eligible for the Oscars? I mean, there are those filmmakers who really want people to go into the main theaters and see their movies on the really big screen.
You like going to the movies, don't you?
I do.
I think it's a social event. For instance, we've already bought first night tickets for Star Wars because it's an event. It's for Lisa. She likes to go and see it with a group of people. And there's something about seeing it in the movie when the first strains of that amazing John Williams score begin. That's right. And then the scroll going up over your head. There's you get chills. It's a Star Wars movie.
And the communal experience. There's something energetic about having, a couple hundred people or 300 people or whatever is in the theater, all focused on the same thing and laughing at the same thing and gasping at the same thing.
So I don't, we actually had this discussion on one of our shows a few days ago. I don't think theaters are going away. I really don't. I like going to the movies as it's just a social event. It's not your primary consumption.
Right.
It's a social event.
Right. That is correct.
And theaters that are smart are making it also, a night out. I think of the Alamo Draft. Have you ever been to the Alamo Draft House?
I never have. And I have to tell you, when I hear about you can get food and drink at your chair and then waiters come in, I'm going, wait a second, that's interrupting the movie.
No, because they don't. So the Alamo Draft House was started in Austin, is now spread out. There's one in San Francisco, and the idea is you can have beer and tacos while you're watching the movie. But also, more than that, it's also programmed. So it's the movie, but they put shorts in front of it. They're movie lovers, and at least the one in Austin, the waiters are in a trough in front of you.
Oh, they don't interrupt.
You can't see you, and they don't. And when the movie's going, they don't bug you. So I think it's pretty good.
I'll have to go try that, I guess.
Netflix kept a art theater in New York alive. They actually spent the money to keep it open because I think they realize there's value to both. And you know what? If you're a movie fan, you're like The Irishman. That is, and same with Roma last year. That's for movie fans. Yeah, that is not popular. That's not in the MCU, the Marvel comic universe. That's in the MSCU, the Martin Scorsese comic universe. It's for a cineast.
But if a movie like Roma only is in the theater for a few days in order to qualify for the Oscars,
that's kind of sad, isn't it?
That's kind of sad.
But I think they keep this art theater alive, not for that reason, but because they want people to love movies. And if they love movies, they'll subscribe.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
We need theaters. We need theaters. We need people to love movies, and we need a new generation growing up to love movies.
Yeah,
that's what I think.
Well, it's like when recorded music came out, people thought, "Oh, that's the end of live performance."
Exactly. Live performance is a one-of-a-kind, unique experience.
That's right, and so is going out to the movies.
Yeah. That's Scott Wilkinson. We didn't get to whatever you wanted to talk about, but thank you, Scott.
That's all right.
TechHive.com if you want to read his great reviews of products. And, of course, he joins us every week to talk about home theater or theater.
Or
Thank you, Scott. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, I really like The Irishman. Lisa and I watched it on Thanksgiving night.
Oh. Yeah. Is it particularly violent?
No, it's not. Actually, let me think about that. No, it's not nearly. Well, it's not nearly as violent. Certainly, no Tarantino. Violent.
Yeah, that's good. I won't go see Tarantino.
Yeah, no, it's not that violent. There are, people get shot in the head. There's blood, blood spattering. It was based on a book called "I Paint Houses." And
really?
Yeah, but the house painting he's talking about is not painting them with paint.
Painting with blood.
So there are a few scenes of headshots, where they walk up to a guy and they shoot him in the head. That's about as violent as it gets. There are a few fist fights that are actually pretty amusing because these guys are in their late 70s, so they can't really go wild.
That's true. The main actors are in their 70s.
The real problem with it, they de-age these guys.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah, for the movies. There's a lot of CGI, even though you would never know it. And the real problem...
They look kind of waxy?
Yeah, it's not... No, they were at least... They didn't overdo it. They don't even look young, to be honest with you. And the problem is they don't move like young men. And so they had to get posture coaches to say, now, come on, Robert... But there's one scene in it where De Niro is disposing of a pistol, and he has to walk over these rocks. And so I read reviews somewhere. The guy said, "Oh, I wanted to reach out and help him. It was kind of tottering on. Dad, come on, don't go out on those rocks." He's 76. Pacino's in his almost 80, I think.
Yeah,
Pacino's quite good in it, but they move stiffly. They even as young men, they move stiffly.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's very weird to see Joe Pesci, who is really looks older than all the rest. But God, I just love these guys. And what you do is you suspend after a while, and you just go, "Well, look."
You suspend disbelief.
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about Gemini Man when I saw that in the de-aged Will Smith, it wasn't using that de-aged technology. In fact, it was completely CGI.
Yeah, they didn't try to do that in this one.
No,
how did that look?
And it was very convincing.
Oh, interesting.
I thought it was great.
I always feel like I know if it's completely CGI. So apparently what they did with this, the first thing they did, I loved this story, was they had two of them reenact a scene from Goodfellas to see if they could do it, and then use the CGI on it, and they felt satisfied. It looks like they didn't do it extreme. They still look old. They just don't look as old.
As old. Well, okay.
Yeah. It's a little odd.
Yeah.
But you quickly get over that and just say, look, we're watching. I mean, honestly, the acting, De Niro is such a good actor.
Oh, yeah.
And it's really a star turn for him. He'll get an Oscar for that, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I just used up another chunk of change.
No, that's totally fine.
Can you stick around for the top?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody in the chat room said, I had to laugh when Joe Pesci says, you got to meet this young guy I know. And it's De Niro. But the problem is, De Niro's supposed to be 28. He's 76.
He's supposed to be that young?
Oh, yeah. He doesn't look 28. But he looks like kind of middle-aged instead of old. I don't know. It's the stiffness and the way they move. The
way they move.
It's very hard you can't fake that.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
I don't care. It's worth seeing.
Worth seeing. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know. turn your eyes when there's going to be gun violence.
Yeah,
it's not a Tarantino by any means. They don't revel in the violence. There just is some violence because there has to be.
One of these weeks
we'll talk at the top.
Talk at the top. You bet.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I did not, and I will not preach, especially somebody who's facing a potential loss of a significant amount of data. But you got to back it up. One copy a day. I don't care if it's on a RAID 5 or a RAID 1. I don't care how you've stored it. If you have one copy of it, it's not backed up. It just seems so obvious to me. Hard drives fail. Bad things happen. Ransomware. You got to back it up. That's just all there is to it. And honestly, I'm still a big fan of Peter Krogh. He's a photographer. He wrote the Digital Asset Management book. It just came out in the second edition, the damn book, for photographers. But he came up with this notion of 3-2-1 backup. Easy to remember. And it's really simple. You need 3 copies of everything. That if you delete an original, now you have 2 copies, right? You need 3 copies, original and 2 backups. Ideally, those 2 backups should be in 2 different forms of backup. So you put all your eggs in one basket. And the most important part is the 1. So that's the 3 and the 2. The 1 is one of them should be off-site. Take it to work, put it in the cloud, somewhere where your main backups are not. So that if there is a fire, a flood, an atmospheric river, a bomb cyclone, you can get your data back. And don't rely on any kind of magical technology like RAID. Oh, it's safe, it's in RAID. I have multiple copies. Anything I really value, my photos, I'll give you a good example. Those are very valuable to me. I have photos going back to when my kids were born. And I store them locally. I store them backed up on a network-attached storage. I store them in the cloud on Google Photos and on iDrive. So I've got, what was that? That's 4. And then whenever I set up a new computer, I have most of those photos, sometimes all of those photos, depending on how much storage I have. It's about a terabyte worth of storage. I have that also backed up. So I have copies here in the cloud at home. I'm pretty sure, though, I'm not going to lose those photos. I'm pretty sure. Oh, I forgot Apple iCloud. There's another one. So they're really safe. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. You gotta have those backups. Otherwise, there's going to be a day when you're going to say, I need data recovery. And believe me, you don't want to ever get to that point. Jason Cooper, Texas. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Leo, and happy birthday.
Thank you.
I've been a long-time fan for 21 years.
Holy cow. That's amazing. I'm only 29. I don't know how that's possible. What can I do for you, Jason?
Yes, I purchased the Plex Pass.
Oh, lovely. They're a sponsor, I should mention, but I've been a fan for years.
Yes, I got it from your link.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah.
And I was calling to see, like on ripping DVDs, on what to convert them to play on Apple TV or a Roku TV.
Perfect. So, what Plex is, for people who don't know, is a client-server media player. It was originally it's funny. The history of Plex is interesting. Originally based on the Xbox Media Center that Microsoft shipped, but the idea is it's a what they call a lean-back experience, a nice TV experience. You put all the stuff on the Plex server, and then you can have Plex clients everywhere: Apple TV, Roku, computer, phone. So your content can be played anywhere. And really, Plex is designed that once you have a movie or a TV folder, you probably want both, you just drop your files in there, and almost all files will play. It handles a lot of different files. Ideally, since you're ripping it and you can get your choice, the movies you're ripping are stored in MPEG 2, but you probably almost always want to do MPEG 4. That's going to give you, or MP4 sometimes they call it. And that encoder could probably use either H.264 or HEVC, which is the new H.265, the new. In fact, if you're doing 4K, always do HEVC. It stands for High Efficiency Video Codec. And it'll handle the 4K, it'll handle the Blu-ray, the UHD, the 1080p, the 480, whatever you've got. And it'll give it the best possible quality. That's what you're looking for. It's never going to be better quality than the original, right? So a DVD is never going to look better than the DVD looks when you play it. But if you encode it in HVEC for an MP4 file, it'll look as good as it can get. And that's nice. So what are you using to encode? Are you using
WinX DVD.
WinX DVD, okay. So all of those will give you the choice, and almost all of them will default to this MPEG-4. That's the standard. So H.265, that's the newer encoding standard, wrapped in an MP4 file. That's one of the things that's confusing about these codecs, because when you talk about a Windows Media file or a QuickTime movie or an MP4 file, you're actually talking about not how it's encoded, but the wrapper. The file format. Inside it is data, and that data has been compressed. It always has to be compressed. You wouldn't believe me. When they deliver digital movies to the movie theater, massive hard drives for one movie. It's a lot of data. So they have to be compressed for you to have them on a hard drive at home. And the best compression standard is the high efficiency video codec, currently H.265. So that's the one you want to use if it's available to you in your program, which it almost certainly will be if it's a modern program. If not, H.264, the previous, is actually still very, very good. And then you could put in a wrapper. And there are a lot of other wrappers, too, that Plex will understand almost any of them. A lot of people use MKV, the Matryoshka format. A Matryoshka is one of those Russian nesting dolls. So they call it the Matryoshka format because, and this is kind of an apt analogy, inside the doll is another doll, which is the movie. Inside that's another doll, which is the audio. Inside that might be more dolls, for things like closed captioning, and so it's kind of a nested file format. But the outside is what we call the container. And so sometimes people get confused thinking the container is how it's encoded. It's not. The container is MP4, and this is the preferred container for Plex, although it'll understand a lot of them. And then the codec is how it's compressed. Codec stands for compression, decompression. The codec, either H.264 or H.265 if you've got it. Let's take a little tiny break. I guess we've run out of time in this hour. We got lots more time next hour to talk high tech. Johnny Jett will be joining us, our travel guru. I hope you didn't have to suffer. Man, it was tough traveling this holiday week because of all the storms and so forth, and I think more storms are on the way. I hope you were able to get to where you were going and enjoyed a wonderful Thanksgiving with friends and family. I did. It wasn't we only had 10 at the table. That wasn't too bad, but a lot of fun. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're getting ready for the holiday season. We will have more, I'm sure, Black Friday picks and ideas, and we'll hear more of your calls. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. Our website is techguylabs.com.
And I've got 8 minutes.
Oh, look at that. You're rich.
Well, let me first invite all LA listeners to come to Tuba Christmas.
Oh, I forgot to mention it.
I'm sorry. I should have
I'll
mentioned
plug
it to you.
Don't worry.
Would you?
Yeah.
It's a week from tomorrow, Sunday, December 8th, at 3 p.m. this time. And all the details are at tubachristmasla.com.
Cool.
So, if you've never been before, come hear 100 tubas playing Jingle Bells and many other carols. Also, I've got a brand new arrangement that I wrote for 100 tubas of a Hanukkah song called Ocho Candalicas, which is from the Sephardic songbook. The Jewish people are subdivided into a number of categories. Ashkenazi from mostly Eastern Europe, Sephardic from mostly Spain, ending up in Singapore. And the Sephardic Jews have a variant of medieval Spanish that they use as their common language called Ladino, which is very much like Ashkenazi Yiddish is to German. And so this song was actually written only, 1980s, I think. 8 Little Candles, Ocho Candelicas. It's a rumba. And so I wrote an arrangement of that for the tubas, and it should be really fun. So I hope people will come out for it. The weather report so far seems to be that it'll be cloudy, but we're not expecting heavy rain on a week from tomorrow, so I'm really hoping not. It's at, believe it or not, those of you in LA will know the name Forest Lawn, where it's been for the last 8 years. They have a beautiful concert hall on the grounds of Forest Lawn Cemetery. 1,200-seat auditorium, great acoustics, free concert. I want to make that very clear. You don't even need a ticket. All you need to do is show up. And there's plenty of seats. We really hope you'll show up and join us in celebrating the holidays, singing Christmas carols. It's a audience sing-along. We're not going to expect you to sing along to Ocho Candelicas because not too many people probably know that song. But I think you'll enjoy it. We also do a couple other Hanukkah songs, Mos Zur and Sivivon. And also the Hollywood Tuba 12, a 12-piece professional tuba group, not a quartet. Actually, it's technically called a dodecatet because there are 12 of them. And they do some more sophisticated arrangements, and they sound great. I mean, these are some of the best players in the world. They just, they're studio players, professionals from LA, and they do a fantastic job playing these more sophisticated arrangements as a featured little set within the concert. But the majority of the concert is a big group of over 100 tubas playing Christmas music and some Hanukkah music. And the audience is encouraged to sing along. My wife, Joanna, is actually the song leader. She will lead the audience in singing along. We provide lyrics for those of you who don't know the lyrics to the Christmas carols. Most of you do, actually, probably. They're the common carols that everybody likes to sing, Adeste Fidelis and Away in a Manger, Jingle Bells, and so on. And we just love to have you guys come out and sing along and join us for Tuba Christmas. So that's a week from tomorrow, December 8th, 3 p.m. at Forest Lawn Hall of Liberty. That's the name of the hall up there. You can get all the details at tubachristmasla.com. And there's a map to the venue there, and we're even going to have a food truck up there because there aren't any restaurants on the grounds of the cemetery. So we always have a food truck on hand, and this year it's Roni Macaroni. And they make an amazing macaroni and cheese with a bunch of other stuff, but they sort of are based on this macaroni and cheese, which is wonderful. I get it whenever I can because it's an excellent macaroni and cheese. Fa la 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 la, Mike B. That's exactly right. Loquacious, yes, it is a super fun event. I sure hope you can make it sometime. I know you would totally dig it. Mike Heist, no, there is still no tuba arrangement of Hanukkah in Santa Monica. I still think about arranging that, and what I would have to do, that would need to have the lyrics, I think, in order for people to understand what it is. So Joanna and I might sing it one year with a tuba accompaniment. Let's see. Yo Dave asks, how does one know when their speakers don't have as good a sound as they did when they were new? I have some that are 20 plus years old, but I don't know if they sound bad compared to good quality new ones. Well, that's actually a really good question. The only thing that wears out in a speaker, unless it's blown up, you send it too much power, or oddly, you send it too little power, you underpower the speaker, it can be damaged as well. And if you overpower it, of course, you can blow it up. So, but those are obvious, and that's not a problem. But I mean, for sure when that happens. But the only other thing that can wear out over time is the flexible thing. It's called the surround, oddly enough, that attaches the actual vibrating diaphragm to the cabinet. And it's made out of a rubberized something or another. It has to be flexible because it has to basically attach to the edge of the driver of the diaphragm, and it's moving back and forth. It's vibrating, and so it has to be flexible. And that over time can deteriorate, typically. So you might need to get it. Might need to get that replaced. And what does that sound like when it's bad? I honestly don't know. I've never actually made a study of what that sounds like. So the only way to really know is to do a side-by-side comparison. Lawn Dog, yes, speaker material dries out. And that's what I'm talking about. The surround material dries out.
Scotty, have a great tube. Well, I'll see you before Tuba Christmas.
You'll see me before Tuba Christmas. And if you could plug it, I sure would appreciate it.
TubaChristmasLA.com.
TubaChristmasLA.com.
Thank you.
That's the one.
I shall give it a plug.
Thank you. And I'll see you next week.
Thanks. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the Tech Guy. Yes, it's hour 2 of the Tech Guy program. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. I'd love to hear from you if you have a question, a comment, a suggestion. You'd like to talk high-tech, 888-827-5536. Everything we talk about on the show is on the website, techguylabs.com. That's free, no sign-up. We even put audio and video from the show there. So if you missed an episode, you can go back. Or if you want to just go back in time and go all the way back to 2004, you can see what we were talking about 15 years ago. Tech has changed a lot in 15 years. I hope I'm doing this in 15 years because it'd be fun to say, you remember 2019? Man, we had to drive our own cars. It was so much. You had to cook because you didn't have the fabricator in the house. That was before they even invented it. Man, it was so great. We still remember paper money. Oh, what a crazy idea. What do you think? What do you think? What will that be? Let's say 2035. What will we be talking about in 2035 on this show? 8888 Ask Leo, my number. Back to the phones we go. Jeff is in Marshall, Illinois. Thanks for hanging on, Jeff. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy.
Hi, Leo. Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'm going to kill Kim. Okay, go on. What can I do for you?
She gave away your birthday.
I don't. I was saying some families really think it's a big deal, and I just didn't grow up thinking it was a big deal. And now that I'm old, I don't even want to think about it. So, but that's all right. It's better than the alternative, as my wife keeps telling me. Yeah.
Hey, anyway, I wanted to talk about the state of security, why it is the way it is now, and what do we do about it in the future to make it better? And I even have just a quick example of something that was really boneheaded this one company did. I discovered that their password recovery, the password was sent in plain text.
In the email. Yeah.
Yeah, they just said, here's your password, have a nice day.
Nice.
And I did inform them about this, and they actually did take care of it, and the CTO actually called me back and said, hey, thanks for letting us know, and, blah, 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 here's what we did. It actually ended up being their software provider that provided their software.
Oh, so the CTO knew better. He just didn't realize he'd never had occasion to ask for a new password.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of calling, why do companies not vet their software? And why did this company that wrote the software, why did they make mistakes like this?
What were they thinking?
Exactly.
I think we should do a segment. We could easily do it. What were they thinking? So I don't want to be too hard on companies because security is hard. So there's a few things at play here. First of all, there's no such thing as perfect software. Every program has bugs. Any program of any reasonable size, and the programs we use today, including our operating systems, are massive, just going to have flaws. And it is often the case that those flaws can lead to security problems, exploits. Often it's said if you can figure out a way to crash a program remotely, you can figure out a way to hack it, because that's a prelude to a crash, as a prelude to being hacked. So that's problem one, is just it's in the nature of the beasts. Software and hardware is so incredibly complex that it's inevitably going to have flaws. Now, we've made it worse for a number of ways. One is we use languages that allow programmers to make dumb mistakes. So there are generally more flaws than there need to be. The programming industry is kind of waking up to that. But remember, coders who are writing software, they're often on deadline. There's a lot of pressure. Sometimes they take the quick and easy way, and sometimes they miss things that you might think are obvious because they're under such pressure. So, there's a lot of factors that go into this. There's also the issue of testing. And both Microsoft and Apple have recently come under a lot of fire because they've had broad public tests of both Windows 10 and iOS 13. And despite the fact that millions of people used it for months, many very serious bugs went undetected. And people are saying, well, how could that happen? And this is the complexity of what we're dealing with. Maybe those bugs were reported, but the systems that the companies set up weren't adequate to, handling the inflow of bug reports. Maybe the bug was introduced later. One of the things Apple says they're going to do, and they didn't say this publicly, but they said it in an all-hands meeting, is they're going to have switches that you can turn off features while you're testing, because the problem's been with so many new features, you can have so many bugs that you're not sure exactly what's going wrong. It's also possible to fix the wrong bug. And then there's the problem you alluded to, which is poor security practices. And that's a big problem. I think companies, in light of all these breaches lately, are kind of understanding that they cannot be cavalier about security. But some of this mindset comes from a day when you just really didn't have to worry about security. None of the tools we use were designed with security in mind, especially the internet. I once asked Vint Cerf, who's often considered the father of the internet. He created the protocol, the rules for communicating, called TCP, for communicating computer to computer. And I asked Vint, is there anything in hindsight you'd have done differently? And he said, yeah, I would have built in encryption. When they first designed the internet, when they first designed email, many cloud systems, many operating systems, they were designed, to work efficiently, but they were never designed with the mindset that somebody might attack them. And that's what's changed, and that's changed dramatically in 20 years. We used to be able to use email and not worry about the fact that it was, unencrypted. It was, anybody could read it along the way. Anybody could spoof it. But once spam became a problem, people started to think, oh, maybe we should have been a little more careful about designing this. Problem is, it's too late. Everybody's doing it the old way, and it takes a concerted effort to redo how you do email or any of these things. I think you did the right thing. Whenever you see something, you were thinking you put your security hat on, and you were thinking what the threat model could be. A lot of people don't want to think that way. They don't want to think like a bad guy thinks. They want to think everybody's trustworthy. The world is a wonderful place, and we don't have to worry about attacks. But a good security expert, unfortunately, it's actually a hardship for them, constantly thinks the worst, right? Everything, the worst. What's the worst that can happen? They're disaster-minded. It's kind of an occupational hazard. Same thing with backup, right? You've got to think, what's the worst that could happen? And a lot of people don't want to live that way. I don't want to live that way. But nevertheless, that's how you have to if you're going to be a security expert. So you did actually one of the things that's most helpful. You notified the company. And by the way, kudos to the company. They responded. But you said, look, it's insecure to send a password in the clear in email. There's even more subtle things that companies do all the time. I see it all the time that are just security nightmares. And, there are a lot of reasons. It's expensive to fix it. Maybe they don't know. Maybe they know, but they can't. A lot of times a company will say you can't have a password longer than 8 or 10 or 12 characters. That's not a good policy. But maybe their system is set up in such a way that they can't do any better. And it would cost them millions to fix it. The other thing that's more insidious, and then I'll stop because I'm nonstop talking on this one. But the other thing that's really insidious, and sometimes we don't take into account, many companies know things they could do to make it more secure. But they also know that if they do that, they're going to get a lot more tech support calls. It's going to cost them money. For example, banks should absolutely never use text messages, SMS, to verify your login. That's just known to be a real security flaw. But they do it, and they continue to do it, even though they know better, because any other solution would cost them lots of money in tech support because people go, well, I'm confused. I don't understand. How does that work? I lost my password. I don't know what to do now. So a lot of times companies, especially big companies, make decisions that are less than optimal security-wise just because it would be too expensive. It would confuse their users to do anything properly. That's an education problem. That's something I need to work harder on and teach people how to do things right so that we are all a little bit more aware of the issues in security. It's a really good question. And there is, as you can see, there are many reasons why we aren't as secure as we ought to be. Really, the chief reason is we've been doing this for a long time, and stuff creeps up on you gradually. It's called entropy. It's the way of the world. I'm glad you know what, you did the right thing though, Jeff. I think that was good. You called the company, and I'm amazed they responded.
Yes, they did. They actually emailed me several different times. I'm surprised it got out of the first stage of people, but it kept going to hire more executives and then finally to the CTO. So
that's another thing a lot of companies are doing and more should do, which is having people in charge of security. The title is CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. And every company that has personal information or needs to secure logins and something should have a CISO and a team, a security team. And when the CISO comes to the CEO and says, boss, we got a problem, you need to spend $1 million, the boss has to do it. And one of the ways we can ensure this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. It's important that the laws punish companies that don't protect our data so that there is a penalty for not doing the right thing. Because otherwise they'll say, well, yeah, fine, so what? If there's a break-in, we'll deal with it then. And there's got to be some pain involved. Hey, thank you for the question, Jeff. It's a great question.
Oh, thanks for answering.
I appreciate your calling. Yeah, it's one of the things I like to talk about because it is something we need to deal with. And really, as individuals, we can deal with it. You can learn a little bit about protecting. It really doesn't take a lot. You want to know what I think you need to do to stay safe? It's just a handful of things. Keep your software updated. Really important, especially your operating systems or anything that goes online. Keep that up to date. Every morning when you start up your computer, you should check and see that everything's up to date. Really important. You should use a password manager. When you create passwords, the temptation is to create something that you can remember. That's almost always a bad password and easily guessed. And the other temptation that goes hand in hand is to use the same password or a variation of the same password over and over. Those are very bad security practices. The good news is you can easily, free or inexpensively, get a password manager that will create good, long, unmemorable passwords and then memorize them for you so you don't have to remember them and fill them in for you. Password manager is huge. You should also use two-factor authentication wherever you can. You've probably heard about this. This is the idea that it's more than a password. When you log into Facebook, at least the first time on any new device, it's more than just your login and password. You also need to have a Facebook code sent to you. And that's called two-factor. That's two different ways of proving you are who you say you are. And two is more than twice as good. Hackers are stopped by it. Two-factor is huge. Wherever you can turn on two-factor, turn it on. I think those three things really: update, two-factor, and password manager. Those are the three most important things you can do. And I think if you do that, that's not hard. It just takes a little, paying attention. You will at least do the best you can. You can't prevent these companies from doing a bad job, but you will at least be doing the best you can. 8888 Ask Leo. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. More calls right after this. Our show today brought to you by my browser of choice. What's your browser of choice? Is it Internet Explorer? Is it Safari? Maybe Chrome? I got a better choice for you. For no matter what platform, Mac, Windows, Linux, Android, or iOS, it's Brave. Brave is the best browser ever. First of all, it's very much like Chrome because it's based on the open source Chromium project, the same source code as Chrome, but they de-Googled it. They took out, and it has built-in ad blocking. It has built-in anti-tracking tools, privacy protection. It's a better browser. And you know what? Because it has all that stuff, it's a faster browser, as much as 6 times faster than the competitors. Brave is unlike any other browser you've used. And once you use it, you'll say goodbye to all those other browsers. The beauty is any platform you want, you can have multiple browsers. So go to brave.com/twit and try Brave. My suggestion is you go into the Brave settings and take a look at all the features. I think it'll wow you when you do it. Let me just go to the settings of my Brave setup. There's all sorts of things you can do that make it a better browser, including ad tracking, blocking Facebook scripts and Twitter scripts. I turn those all off. I just love it. Instead of using Google, you can use a better browser like a better search engine like DuckDuckGo, or my favorite, Start Page. And one of the things I love about Brave, because I'm an ad-supported, I don't want to take money out of the mouth of The Verge and other sites that I use. Brave allows you to reward content creators with BAT. I guess they call them basic attention tokens, but they come from Brave. It supports content creators, allows you to access premium content. So you get more privacy, less tracking, and you give publishers their fair share of web revenue. I love this. You can either buy BAT tokens with cash or, with dollars, or you can get BAT rewards with Brave privacy-respecting ads. They're very inobtrusive ads. They don't go on the web page. They're just little notifications. They respect your privacy. You earn Brave tokens doing that, and then you can pass them along. I just think this is a brilliant idea. Brave was founded by Brendan Eich and Brian Bondi. Brendan created JavaScript. He was former CEO of Mozilla. And another thing I love is Brave has a privacy window that's truly private. It has Tor within the privacy window. So an incognito window in Chrome still sends everything back to Google. With a privacy window in Tor, no one can see what you're doing. It is truly private and safe. Brave just is a better browser. Yesterday was about big tech. Today's about us. Use the browser that respects you and respects your privacy. Brave.com/twit. It's easy to set up. You could switch browsers. You can import all your settings. Brave Sync means that my bookmarks are everywhere. It doesn't sync the plugins, which I kind of like. And oh, by the way, it uses all the Chrome extensions. So I've got LastPass installed. I don't need uBlock Origin or NoScript because that's automatically happening with Brave. But I do install Privacy.com and LastPass because it works with Chrome extensions. So you get what you want, no more than you want. You're in total control. Mac, Windows, Linux, Android, and iOS. I put it on everything, and I sync it up so they all have the same bookmarks. Brave.com/twit. Brave is a better browser. Brave.com/twit. Just give it a try. I think you'll like it. Leo Laporte, the tech guy, 8888 Ask Leo. Dale in Clio, Michigan's next. Hi, Dale.
Yeah, Michigan, one of the most famous pronunciations of the word.
Is it wrong? How do you say it?
Clio.
Clio.
Yeah. Clio, spelled CL10.
Yeah, but okay, I'm going to remember that from now on. The only reason I say Clio is because there's the Clio Awards for advertising, but that's named after a muse. What's Clio named after?
It's a muse.
A muse. They just say it funny. Or maybe they say it right. Leo. Maybe they...
Clio supposedly is right.
Okay. Clio is fine. I have to, you also have Mackinac Island. I mean, this is all part of being a talk show host. You got to learn the names.
Well, you get a geography lesson every day.
I know. I love it. Whereabouts is Clio?
About halfway between Flint and Frankenmuth.
Okay. People, when you ask them where they are in Michigan, they hold up their hand. Because Michigan's
I hold up the wrong hand and everything.
That's wrong. It's backwards. What can I do for you?
By the way, I may end up stuttering on you a little bit. I diagnosed Parkinson's a couple of years ago, and by the time I try to tell somebody that I'm not that kind of person, I usually know.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that's not been too hard for you.
Roughest thing on me is playing my bass guitars. I have like a half a dozen of them, but I keep picking and I find something that plays nicer, and usually I'm going after something with a smaller neck scale, which right now I'm eyeballing a Guild, what's it called, a Jumbo Junior bass, and it's only 20. The whole thing is only they're about a yard long.
Oh, how fun! So it's a little baby bass.
I'm telling you, and it sounds like a monster.
The brain is an amazing thing. I remember Glenn Campbell, who, of course, had severe Alzheimer's in the later years. He really didn't know what was going on or who was there, but he never forgot how to play music. And it's
that's the last thing to go.
Yeah, often is. And I just read a study of people, have sometimes deep brain stimulation to treat Parkinson's. But there's been a strange effect in a small percentage of people who get it. They forget how to swim. And
that's not going to kill me.
Well, it is if you're a proficient swimmer. In fact, this is how they started to discover it. And you go in the water, you go over there in beautiful Lake Michigan, and you suddenly say, I don't know how to swim. I've been swimming my whole life, and I can't swim. So doctors are warning, if you get this deep brain stimulation, to be careful before you go in a body of water. Even if you're an Olympic swimmer, you may have forgotten. Isn't that weird?
Now there's this thing about 50-50 in the doctor's world about using CBD and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Hold on just a second. I got to take a break, but let's keep talking off the air. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I used up your whole time talking about that, and I apologize, but I'm still with you, Dale.
Yeah, for the first-time caller, by the way.
Welcome.
But this little jumbo bass is kind of neat.
That's cute. Who makes that?
Guild.
Wow, that's so cool.
Guild, and it sounds fantastic for its size. And, of course, I was looking at the bass ukulele because I know a lot of uke players.
Oh, fun.
But the bass ukulele starts going out of tune the farther up the neck you go. And this Guild is considered...
it's a hollow body. It's like a guitar almost.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. And it's got an electronic, piezoelectric... pickup in it. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So I can rock and roll with the best of them.
Oh, that's really cool.
And if you've ever heard Ted Nugent on the bass, and you'll get into the feedback of it. It's pretty wild.
Oh, that's wild. Did you play? What kind of music did you play?
I play right now. I'm in Christian contemporary, but I've played rock and roll. I've played country. I've played Stump the Bass Player.
Fun. So you're still able to play pretty well. Then it sounds like.
Yeah, I just not 4 hours like I used to. But I still give it a whirl.
Good.
Up every Sunday morning to do the 3 or 4 songs for the services.
Oh, that's great.
And that kind of thing. So, what I like about it right now is a lot of young kids coming up in our group, even at the church, that are just rolling circles around me. So I know that when I have to retire, I got a couple of replacements. So
good. That's nice. That's a good feeling, isn't it? You've kind of passed it down.
Yeah, because it was for like 20 years. I was the only bass player around.
Wow. Yeah, I feel like that's my job now as I get on to pass it along and, get the next generation up and coming.
Yeah, and don't want to play Stump the Tech guy because it'd get even.
That's too easy. That's too easy. So what can I do for you, Dale?
Well, I got an iPhone 6 Plus.
Nice.
And it's still operating on a single battery. It's getting to the point where the battery is not holding its charge like it used to. So I know it's time for that. My question is this. Being also blind, it feels like my screen is starting to bulge just a smidge.
Uh-oh. That could be. And you probably have a much more acute sense of that than I would. So if you feel that, you need to take it to the Apple Store, because what that means, and this is not unusual on an older battery, is it's starting to swell. And honestly, they might replace it for free because of that, because it's a real hazard when it starts to swell. The next step is if it breaches the battery enclosure, the battery will start to can catch on fire, will start to overheat and then burst into flames, and it can spray toxic chemicals. It's just plus your phone will blow up. So I would bring it as soon as you can to the Apple Store and hope that they have the same acuity with their touch that you do, because if they can sense that bulge, they almost certainly will replace it for you, because it's dangerous.
Yeah, no, the other thing is the closest Apple Store to me is Lansing, Bloomfield Hills. It's kind of a toss-up.
I know.
But now, according to, from what I understand, batteries plus bulbs also does iPhone batteries and screens. Do them together.
As long as they're an authorized, but first of all, you'll pay for it because they won't do a warranty repair. But I have to say, Apple, you should look on the Apple site for warranty repairs, because it doesn't have to be an Apple Store. It can be. We have a place down the road that does it now, so Apple's really expanded that. But if you don't mind paying for it, well, that's fine. But if you can, call Apple anyway and tell them. You may not have to go to the store. They may just do it for you by mail. Thank you, Dale. Got to run. I hear a little rattling in the Jetland. Do you have a small child down there with you?
No. Do you hear it?
Well, maybe a little. Did you fall over? Are you okay?
No, I was actually, my light went off. It's on sensor.
So you had to reach over.
No, I was trying to throw something so the sensor will turn back on. And I'm trying to figure out what to throw.
Don't worry, I can see you.
I need my Kleenexes.
It's the radio. It's okay.
I understand, but I just thought there'd be more light.
Let there be light, says Johnny. It's apparently very common now to have these lights that go off automatically, because many of our contributors I'll catch them waving and trying to get those lights to come on.
Oh, for sure. And actually, I think the first time I ever really noticed it was maybe 10 years ago. I was in New Zealand in a lodge, and I think I was out doing a radio show, and I might have been yours. And it was in the middle of the night. Everyone was sleeping because of the time difference. And I'm in this lodge, and it's really quiet. And all of a sudden, the lights went out, and you can't see anything in front of you. And I'm in a place I don't know anything about, and it's the lobby, and it scares you. And anyway, but now our whole house is rigged, so if you
that's good. You're saving energy. That's a good thing,
for sure.
Because people forget to turn off lights. I'm a dad. I'm a dad. You know what I mean? I go around, I turn off lights.
That's what I do all day long.
Turn down the heat. I'm not made of money. That whole thing. That's me.
Yeah. I've turned into actually my mom. My dad's like, I don't care. My mom cared. And so I turned into my mom because I do the same thing.
I close cupboards, put down toilet seats. I'm the dad in the house.
Yeah.
What?
Speaking of the dad, by the way, happy belated birthday. I know you had a big birthday yesterday. So
thank you.
Happy birthday. And my dad was here for Thanksgiving, and I just put him on a plane yesterday back to Florida, and he was really bummed out to leave.
I bet.
But so anyway, one of the things I help do, I thought we could talk about it today, is just different great gifts for travelers.
Yes.
And I would love to hear some of yours too, but some of the things that I like to do, and one for my dad yesterday, so I didn't have to go with him. I originally was going to fly with him, and I was like, you know what? I don't really have the time, and I don't want to be away from my boy and girl.
Yeah.
So I use Blacklane.
Oh, you use Blacklane. Good.
Yeah. So again, they're one of my. I'm a brand ambassador, but I use their concierge service, and it just works so perfectly, especially when you're traveling with an older person. I know the airport will offer it to you for free if you are disabled or injured. You just get a wheelchair service. But lately, especially American Airlines, we had to wait 25 minutes at Miami Airport when I flew back with them 2 weeks ago. And then yesterday we had to wait a little bit, but luckily we had this concierge service who really went and got the wheelchair and said, listen, we're not waiting anymore. We had to wait 5 minutes at curbside, but he takes them all the way through.
What does Blacklane do? Tell me the thing.
So, Blacklane is the car service, but they have an airport concierge as well. And that's what is invaluable to travelers who are afraid to travel. So like my mother-in-law, we were going to London last year and she was meeting us and she felt uncomfortable in an airport she doesn't know well and getting to the hotel. So we arranged for the airport concierge. So the moment she steps off the plane, there's someone there holding her name up, and they take her bags and they whisk her through immigration, security if she was connecting, and then put her in a car service. They would like you to put them in their car service, but you can do any car service or a family pick them up or whatever. But it really helps you basically hold their hand.
I love this. When we travel, I will often get the transfer from the airport to the hotel or the airport to the cruise ship for that very reason. Here I am in, an unfamiliar airport in Istanbul or Dubai, and I don't know anything about it.
Right.
I don't speak the language. And having somebody there who says, Mr. Laporte, Mrs. Laporte, welcome, and gets you through it, that makes such a difference.
And this is one step extra because what you're talking about is when you go through
we've already been through immigration.
And get your bags,
yeah, we've already been through it.
And it's still kind of scary, but when you get off the plane and having someone right there,
can they do that? They have to go through security to do it.
They have access. They have a special airport access. So they're available in 500 airports. It's not every airport, so you have to check. But it's all around the world. And
is it pricey? It's got to be.
It is pricey. It's $200 per person per airport. So, for my dad, I had it at LAX and at Miami. It was $200 each. And then I had the car services, which are on top of that. But again, it's
peace of mind, and it saves you. I mean, I would do it for my dad too. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So that's one of the great gifts you can do.
Blacklane.com.
A cheaper gift is getting a jack audio splitter. We just went our guide a 5 jack, which you don't really need, but you need at least a 2 jack. Because one of the things that drives me nuts on planes are when people are watching movies together or listening to music and they're not using their headphones and they want to share. Just get a splitter. That way you can share the same screen and not disturb everyone else, which these days is going away.
Now you might want,
not going away.
You're going to have to get one that's appropriate to your device. So if it's an Apple device, you might need a lightning jack. If it's going to plug into the headphone adapter in the plane, you might need that dual port. So you'll have to think about it. Maybe the best thing to do is get one with everything. So you can just plug into anything. Hey, look, here's one for $7. It's 5-way.
Yeah, I mean, you can get. Belkin does one. I think it was $11.
Yeah, 5 ways. That's a whole family worth it.
That is a whole family. So you have no excuse to disturb other people when you're traveling, or even when you're in a waiting room or something.
Yeah. Yeah,
I have more, but I'd love to hear one of your favorite.
You know what? A couple of years ago, one of our employees, Chad Johnson, he does the Giz Wiz podcast. He's a gadget guy. He gave us a little care package. And you know what? The thing he gave us, it wasn't an expensive thing, but we still use it to this day, was a luggage scale. Nowadays, they're very finicky about your luggage. It can't weigh too much. And there are different requirements for different airlines, different countries.
Sure.
In some countries, it can't weigh more than 25 pounds. I mean, it's really serious. So these are not expensive. They just, in fact, as little as $10. They have a little strap that hooks around and attaches, and you put it around the handle of your bag, and you'll always know if your bag weighs too much.
I have one. I don't really carry it with me, but one way I get around
it. I carry it in my bag, so I always have it.
Well, the problem is, especially like in Australia, they will weigh your carry-on bags.
Oh yeah.
So, even if you're checking a bag, they'll weigh your little carry-on. And sometimes mine are really heavy because of my camera, my gadgets, my computer. So that's why actually one of my other gifts is a Scotty vest, which is, full disclosure, one of the sponsors on my site.
Oh, I love Scotty vests. I have a bunch of them. And
I can put my laptop.
You have a million pockets. You put everything in it.
30 pockets. 30 pockets. I put my laptop in there. I put the camera around my neck. So when they do weigh it, my bag is fine.
Yeah.
And
your jacket, if they weigh it, is 400 pounds. But
yeah.
But they never weigh your jacket for some reason. Don't tell.
It's very important to find out exactly what the airline's going to charge you for bags, because again, you need to know. You don't want to be surprised at the airport because it's too late. And I've actually been on trips where I've seen someone actually throw their bag at the ticket agent because she tried to charge them $150. And I'm like, oh my God,
do
this
not
guy's
throw your bag. By the way, that luggage scale we do carry on our trips because often your bags weigh more coming home because of all the fun stuff you've brought home from your trip. So I weigh them in both directions, and it's a really good thing to have. And
a good little trick, by the way, is carry a duffel bag in your bag when you travel.
You can stuff it full of stuff.
And then when you come home, you can stuff it, and then you have two bags.
Johnny
and
Jet's at johnnyjet.com for more travel tips, and he joins us every week. Thank you, Johnny.
Thank you.
Safe travels. Yeah, our friend was in New York, and she mailed her clothes back so she could bring more bagels home.
Well, that's hilarious. I've definitely mailed my bags before, and if you use something like FedEx Ground, you don't even have to put it in a box. You just bring your suitcase, and they will mail it that way.
So easy. The cruise lines have a service which is too expensive, so I've never done it, where they pick up your bags at your house, and then the next time you see them, they're on the boat.
Right. Well, actually, United is going to start doing this for their flights, their Polaris flights to London with 5 Marriott hotels. So you don't have to wait for baggage claim.
Awesome.
Your bags will automatically get sent to the hotel.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
And there are services that will do this. And actually, I'll research some, and I can talk about them. I think there's a luggage forward and things like that.
Yeah.
But I had a bunch of websites to talk about in the gift, but
save it. We'll do
it another time.
We'll still be gifting.
I do have a question before we leave.
Yes.
For my dad, he was here and he could see my TV a lot better, even though it's a big 70-inch.
Nice.
But we also went to a party where there was a 50-inch, and he's like, I can see this TV. But the problem is he can never work the remote control. He can't see the remote. Even when I get one of the special ones, he just can't figure it out. But I was just looking on Amazon, and there's a few TVs. There's a TCL, which I never even heard of.
They're actually good. I got my mom a TCL.
Are they? 50-inch,
they have Roku.
4K, and they have Roku TV, and it says it works with Alexa. So my question is, he knows how to use Alexa well.
That's a perfect choice.
Will he be able to tell her to turn it on? Can you say turn to NBC or whatever it is?
Yeah. So I use, and you can get the separate Amazon Fire TV Cube, which will do this as well. And I'm presuming the TCL will have the same functionality as the Fire TV Cube. But yeah, you can come in the room and say, turn on the TV. I want to watch the 49ers.
Okay, so he doesn't even have to touch a remote control.
No, to do the whole thing. You could say, turn the volume up, turn the volume down.
Oh, that's what he needs.
Yeah. Dr. Morbius says, I have a TCL. Do you have the one with the Amazon Echo built in? And can you say, turn on TV? Because that would be the one thing you might not be able to do because the TV's off. Right. But usually when you turn off a TV these days, you're not really turning it off. But it's really not. If he has to turn it on, that's not the worst thing. Once it's on, he'll be able to say something like, I want to watch The Irishman, and it'll pull up Netflix and show you and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, TCL's good. I gave my mom a TCL because of the Roku built in, which is the best.
Yeah, they're $278 for a 50-inch.
They're really cheap.
Right now.
I know. They're
so
great.
It's like, I'm going to get him one for.
Yeah. And he, you might notice the picture quality. He won't. My mom doesn't.
My dad's he's losing his eyesight. He has glaucoma, macular degeneration too.
Exactly. No, having Echo built in is a great idea. I use the Fire TV Cube that way. I just, you could say anything and it'll do its best. Sometimes it's a little frustrating because you'll say what you want and it'll just pull up that channel, but like it'll pull up Netflix, but then you have to say play you have to go one more step, but that's the worst of it.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I hope you have a great birthday weekend. And I guess I'll see you next week.
Cool. Thanks, Johnny.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Leo Laporte, the tech guy. I feel the beat. 8888, ask Leo. Johnny Jet has more gifts for travelers on his website. He's got a whole gift guide there, johnnyjet.com. And, oh, by the way, it's almost time for a Tuba Christmas. Oh, I love Tuba Christmas. Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guy, not merely a home theater guy, he is also a wind instrument expert. I like saying that. Among the instruments he plays, he says, I can play anything with wind in it. Among the instruments he can play. In fact, I would say it's his primary instrument is the tuba. And he directs the very famous L.A. Tuba Christmas every year. It's going to be December 8th this year, 3 p.m. And you can find out more and it's free. I don't know if you have to get tickets first, but it is free at tubachristmasla.com. Scott directs an orchestra with like 100 tubas in it. And apparently, guest artists will include the world-renowned tubist, that's what they call them, Jim Self. You may remember Jim from his most famous tuba solo. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, yes. The Close Encounters theme. You'd think I'm joking, but I'm not. He played the tuba in the... And it's so fun. And Scott leads it. He's the director. He plays the tuba in it. His wife sings. His wife is very accomplished. So it's just a lot of fun. And it's free. So join Joanna and Scott at Tuba Christmas. Go to tubachristmasla.com. And if you are a tuba or euphonium player, you can find out more at that website. You can participate because there's always room for more tubas, right? You can never have enough tubas. For 43 years now, it's been a merry tuba Christmas. December 8th, 3 p.m. at the beautiful Hall of Liberty at Forest Lawn in the Hollywood Hills. I promised Scott I'd mention that. So there you go, Scott. It's a tuba Christmas. Line 1, Kevin, Missoula, Montana. Hello, Kevin. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Well, good afternoon, Leo.
Good afternoon.
Hey, I got a question, a dilemma I was going to bring up with Rich DeMero when he was on your show, but I didn't want him to scare him off and not make him come and...
Rich has a great time. You can't scare him off.
Yeah. Okay, Leo. So... about 5.5 years ago, acquired the Samsung Galaxy S5.
Yes.
The S5. And for the last couple of years, we moved on to consumer cellular. And so they're the GSM network and everything. Yep. Looking to upgrade. It's that time. Right now, I'm currently having to multi-app. I have a couple of apps open at once, and because I believe the size of the phone, I'm not getting any push notifications.
Oh.
Or anything, and because I think it's just 16 gigabytes.
Yeah, that's not a lot of storage. That doesn't affect multi-apping. That's just the storage. That's how many apps you can get on there, how many pictures. It's pretty small, though. Nowadays, you'd be hard-pressed to get a phone that's less than 32 gigabytes, and mostly they start at 64.
Right. So let me ask you this then. What is causing the dilemma, like delays on getting those push notifications?
Well, there's a lot of things that could be going on. First of all, go in the settings and make sure you haven't disabled them.
Right. No.
And it could also be, what version, have you been getting operating system updates?
Yes.
Okay, so you're probably not at Android 10, but you might be 9 by now.
Okay.
So one of the things they started doing in Android, which I think is a good thing, is letting you know when apps are getting location in the background, when they're doing notifications, and you can even control those notifications from the notification. You can say, I don't want as many of them, I don't want any of them, I want you to roll them up. So they've given you a lot more notification control. I'd go into the settings and really check your settings. You could do it globally under the settings notifications, but you can also do it per app in the app. And if you're not getting notifications, I don't know. If no app is giving you notifications, I wonder if you've turned it off globally. And Scooter X is reminding me that with the Galaxy phones, it's also a good idea to, at least once a week, reboot the whole thing. I mean, turn it all the way off and all the way on again.
Yes, I do. Yes, we do that. Good. I do that every night.
Samsung has a setting for that in the settings, which is very handy.
Right. And so anyway, I'm still looking at upgrading. So
it's time to upgrade. 16 gigs is nothing. It's time to upgrade. We're now up to the S10, so you're 5 years old now.
I know. I'm tired of feeding the gerbils. Anyway, so with the consumer cellular, they give you a certain selection with the Android phone.
Yeah, often they're not the phones you want. They're the less expensive A series and things like that. Which phone?
Well, they have the Galaxy S10e.
Oh, good. That's a good one.
Galaxy's S10.
Good.
S10 Plus.
Okay.
And what is the difference between the 10s and the S10 Pluses?
A couple of $100.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm playing with you. There's also the size. I got the S10 Plus. Now we're talking almost $1,000. But it is a bigger screen. It has, I think, more cameras. It has more memory. It's just more. But the E is a perfectly good version. It's just a less expensive one.
Okay. Well, and another thing is, it's Black Friday, and
now's the time to shop. Yeah. In fact, Google took $200 off their Pixel 4, which is their latest and greatest. A number of people who just 6 weeks ago paid full price are not thrilled about that. You can get a Pixel 4 for $599 now from Google. I think the Samsung S10 is a remarkable phone. I love it. I'm very, very happy with it.
Right.
Samsung
it only comes in 2 colors.
Oh man, how dare they?
Yeah. Black and white, but Rich
my Pixel's orange.
But Rich DeMiro had suggestion of the cover, which I would get.
Oh yeah, you'd always want a case on that. Because all of these phones now have glass backs. That means they're fairly fragile if you drop them. Not to mention the glass front. I think the S10e is a good choice. Look at the Pixel 4. My other strong choice for Android, perhaps even better than Google's version, is the OnePlus version. The OnePlus 7 Pro and the OnePlus 7T are really excellent phones, and usually around $400. There's some very good choices in the Android world, but nothing wrong with the S10e. I think that's an excellent phone. I love my S10 Plus. It's great.
Okay, well, hey, if anybody in your chat room can steer me to any deals or anything to keep an eye out for price, I sure appreciate it.
Yeah, I bet you can get a couple $100 off for Black Friday. Getting it through the carrier sometimes is good, sometimes not. It's certainly worth shopping around.
You figure they do a price match, and
yeah, that might be. That's right. The only issue with the carrier, if you ever want to change carriers, sometimes they lock it to their SIM so that you can't use it with anybody else. That's the only downside to that. But often, because you're going to be a customer, they're going to get you paying for months and years. They'll give you a good deal on the phone.
Okay, I'll do some research.
Yeah, I think you'll be very happy. This is a good time to upgrade. A 5-year-old Android phone really probably should be upgraded, especially one with so little memory. That'll make a big difference. I think this is give yourself a little gift this holiday. Yeah, the gift of Android. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. The Tech Guy Podcast is brought to you each and every week, soon to be from the LastPass studios. I'm so thrilled by our very good friends at LastPass. I have really, literally recommended. I've been using LastPass for a decade. That's when they first launched. I've been recommending it ever since then. If you've got passwords, you need a password manager, right? I was at the drugstore the other day. They have in the book, in the notebook section, a book that says on it, passwords. Yeah, you could put your passwords in a book that says passwords and just, hope nobody finds it. Or you could store it in an encrypted, locked vault that no one but you can access, that you could take with you everywhere on every device you've got. That's LastPass. It even generates long, strong passwords, memorizes them for you. And when you've got a Mac and a PC, an iPhone and an Android device, even Linux, LastPass works everywhere you are. In every browser, too. Every browser has a LastPass extension. So you always have your passwords. It autofills on iPhone and Android. I love that feature. No more typing in those long passwords. No more cutting and pasting even. It just fills them in. Same thing on Mac and Windows. LastPass is an award-winning security solution that helps millions of individuals, you, I hope. And maybe you don't know about this, but also LastPass Enterprise, 58,000 organizations, including Twit. Honestly, there is a weak link in your business's security, and that's the passwords, right? You have to give passwords to your bank accounts, to your websites, to all your most valuable data, to your employees. We know employees share passwords, and not just with other people at work. LastPass solves this problem by locking down those passwords. Our employees can use our bank accounts. They can use QuickBooks. They can use anything we have access to without actually getting the password, being able to change it, or even being able to share it. LastPass protects our business. It's the most important thing I use at home and at work. There's LastPass Premium for individual users. We use LastPass Family at home. The reason I love that, there's a couple. I can share my passwords with Lisa easily. I just move any password into the shared family folder, or I can manually share it. That way she has access to the accounts she needs. But what if something happens to me? And this is very important. There's an emergency access contact that you can designate in LastPass. So if I should become incapacitated or die, Lisa can get into the bank account, settle my estate. I designate Lisa and my daughter both, so they both will have access. But they don't have access today. You know, if something happens to me, they send an email, LastPass contacts me, and I've set it up so that if I don't answer in a week, I'm gone, baby. And then they will get access. I think that is by itself, and you get so much with LastPass, but that by itself makes it worth the very low cost of LastPass. I can go on and on. LastPass is an absolute must. Check out the expanded business lineup. With some amazing features that improve security across your company, make life easier for your users. Don't forget, as always, I say turn on two-factor. LastPass supports all the different kinds of two-factor authentication. And, you know, one of the reasons I can really trust my LastPass vault, the LastPass data is only decrypted on device and only decrypted if somebody knows my LastPass login, my LastPass password, and has this, my YubiKey. That is real security. I have great confidence. I could trust everything. In fact, I like LastPass so much I put my passport in it, my driver's license, my social security numbers. I don't store those on my phone and unencrypted. I store them encrypted in LastPass. LastPass, you got to check it out. Make life easier for you. Make life easier for your users at your business, for your IT department too. Go to lastpass.com/twit. Find out how they can help you. And we are so pleased. I've loved LastPass. I've been doing LastPass ads long before they gave me a penny for more than 10 years since I started using them. Steve Gibson, too. I mean, he vetted LastPass and gave it his thumbs up, started using it himself. So we've been using it for many, many years. We love them. They've been a great partner for us in the last couple of, I guess it's this year. It started this year. They started buying ads. And now I'm very pleased to say they've bought naming rights to our studio. And so we're going to be starting, instead of the East Side Studios, it's going to be the Twit LastPass Studios. We're really pleased about that. Thank you, LastPass. They are also sponsoring the next event, if you're watching live, which is Steve Gibson's Squirrel Demo. That's coming up in just a few minutes. If you're not watching live, don't worry. You can get Steve's Squirrel Demo. It'll be on our Twit Specials feed shortly after he concludes. We're going to put it up, and he's going to put it on his website, too. This is going to be the most detailed technical explanation of a squirrel, how it works, what it is, and why you need to use it. And we're also talking to LastPass why they should build it in LastPass, because they should. They're sponsoring the event. So LastPass, get it, and get it at lastpass.com/twit so they know you heard it here. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers and the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. 8888, ask Leo, the phone number, 888-827-5536, toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada, outside that area, you just call with Skype out. It should be free. 8888 Ask Leo. Our website, techguylabs.com. Techguylabs.com. I want you to visit that anytime you hear something and say, "What did you just say? What was that?" Because we put it all up on the website, and that's free. There's no sign up, no cost. Techguylabs.com. So you don't have to remember it. Just put it. Just keep that in mind. And you don't have to remember anything else. Mark in Sacramento, California. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Hi, Mark.
Hey, Leo. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Good. I'm just curious. What do you think of the Apple Airpods Pro? That's not my question to start off with. I was just curious.
I haven't tried them, but they sure seem expensive at $250. And so I have a contrarian opinion on noise-canceling headphones. There's two ways to do it. There's active noise canceling. That's what the Bose Quiet Comforts do. That's what these new AirPods Pro do. The idea is that they have microphones, external microphones on them. They monitor the ambient sound and then mix it out so that you don't hear it when you're listening to music. And it really is nice on a plane flight or whatever because the jet noise is gone. You'll still hear a baby crying, though, because it's only kind of continuous background sound that they'll be able to mix out. So that's active noise cancellation. I'm a fan of what I call, I don't know if this is the technical term, passive noise cancellation, which is headphones that go so far in your ear, they call them in-ear monitors, that you can't hear what's going on around you. And that blocks out babies crying as well as jet noise. I use, my favorites are Etymotics, Etymotics. Some people don't like them because they do go far enough in your ear that they can make people cough like or feel a little funny. Once you get used to them, though, I think it's the best. In my opinion, it's the best way. The audio quality is better as well. I don't think Apple really does a great job with these. Here's another reason I don't like the AirPods. They're uncomfortable. The new AirPods Pro are more comfortable because they have soft tips, but they tend to be more uncomfortable than other headphones, over-the-ear or in-ear monitors. And the final problem I really have with them is they are wasteful because there's no way to replace the battery in those. So after a couple of years, when the battery no longer holds a charge, you have no choice but to throw them away. And I think the problem is they're so small and they're glued together. I don't think Apple has any plans for battery replacement programs. Not that I know of.
I used to use the Jabra Elite.
I have Jabra Elites. I think they sound better than the AirPod Pro.
Well, I had them with the Comply foam tips, and they were great. But I did try out the AirPods Pro when I was at the Apple Store.
What do you think?
I was like, oh, they work pretty good.
Yeah, they seal you. They seal you a little bit. There is also, I think it's worth considering the less expensive in-ear buds from Amazon. Their new Echo Buds are widely considered to be every bit as good, maybe even better in terms of sound quality, and they're $60. So I just think Apple's overcharging for a product that is whizzy, but I'm not crazy about. I'm really not. So
yeah, I wasn't crazy about them with the original version, but then once I tried these
are better. The original never were comfortable for me. They fall out easily, the AirPods, and they were overpriced.
They never stayed in my ear, but these seem to work. They stay in my ear and they work pretty well.
They're kind of like the Jabra Elites, aren't they? They're holding your ear pretty well. You can use them as phone calls, which is nice. I think there are better choices out there for less money.
I would say try them. They let you try them at the store, and once I tried them, I was like, okay, I do like these.
Yeah, we have a pair here. I've not gotten around to putting them on. But, in general, I think Apple overcharges a little bit for their products, and they make a lot of money on headphones. Headphones are a very high-margin product. They're cheap to make. That's why Amazon is they're breaking the omerta, the code of silence, by making these $60 earbuds because they're basically saying, they're not really that expensive.
Yeah. Well, anyways, my question was, and I think you might have answered it for me when I was listening to you talk with Johnny Jet, was that I'm having a heck of a time I bought a new TV, and I cannot get my Harmony remote to control it correctly.
Yeah, so...
And it's a hub where you can program it,
and you've gone online and you found the model of the TV, and they have it in their database.
Well, I would manually put it in. And
try. I mean, one of the nice things about Harmony, the advantage of Harmony, is they have a database of almost every product, and so without having to do the manual remote programming. The universal remote, where you aim your remote at the other remote and all that. You can set up almost everything. And it's more likely they'll have done it properly. So I would, before you give up on it, check to see what's online at the Harmony database. And you might even check Harmony support because they're pretty good. What my experience has been with Harmony Hub and all universal remotes, with most TVs these days don't have on switches and off switches. They have a toggle, right? And if you press it once, and if it's off, it'll turn it on, and if it's on, it'll turn it off. And I find that can often confuse these remotes that are designed to do a whole bunch of things because they don't know what the state of the TV is. So if you start the program, you start the go to watch Oprah and TV's on, it'll turn it off before and that's no good. So, but I would make sure that the database. What's going on?
Well, it turns it on, and it's not selecting the correct input.
Yeah, that may be a question of programming it properly. I would, instead of doing it manually, you knew that you could do this online, right?
Well, I did go to online, and I put in. I tried to log in, and it says, "Well, we need to send you an email to confirm your."
Yeah, you want to do that.
Well, the email's not coming through.
Keep working on that. That's more important. Again, if you need to call support, do. Because the best way to set up the universal remotes from Harmony, including the Harmony Hub, which is really cool. It's $99 and it can control the whole thing. It's just a little dome. Is that you can program it not by manually teaching it, as we used to do with universal remotes, but over the years, Harmony, which has been around for, I think, as much as 10 years, has collected every possible TV, AV receiver, streaming media device, everything. It's all in their database. And online, you can set up a program flow that will work, that will say, I just want to say, watch the 49ers game. And it will know, well, you got to turn on the satellite TV, then you got to go to AV receiver, then you got to go to input 1, then you got to go to the TV, turn on the TV, got to make sure the TV's on input 1, and blah, blah, blah. And it'll set it all up for you. That's the whole point. And you don't want to do that manually, trust me. It's hard to do that right manually. So if it's not working properly, get that email. Get that working. That's the first thing to do, because then you can take advantage of the account and you'll have access to all of this stuff. I think that will solve it for you. 8888 Ask Leo. To be real, Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Back to the phones we go. Line 3, Tamar, Los Angeles. Oh. Hi, Tamar.
Hi, Leo.
Oh, I didn't mean to scare you. Oh, I'm on.
Usually they tell me ahead of time when I'm.
I apologize. Kim's probably partying.
Okay. So I had my grandson spend the night, Thanksgiving night.
Nice.
And he woke up like at 5:45. I don't wake up till 9 or 9:30. So I gave him my iPad. And I told him my password to get in.
Uh-oh.
And I just got on my iPad today, and there's like about 20 video games, games that the 8-year-olds play.
Oh, man, he downloaded a bunch of games.
Yeah, and you were talking about security before, and I don't know, do I need to worry?
Here's the beauty. If it were a Windows machine, I'd say, oh, you definitely need to worry. But it's not. It's an iPad. And so The beauty of this is the only stuff he can put on there is stuff he gets from Apple's store. And Apple vets everything. The iPad is a modern device designed to be safe. So even if he put an application that were a little weird on there, it can't see anything else you're doing. It's sealed off in what we call a sandbox. No, you don't have to worry at all. And if you don't, all you have to do is press and hold them till they go jiggle, 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 and then X them all out, and you're safe. As long as you didn't give him your credit card number,
No, and he did start to load one the other day that asked for that, and I said, absolutely not, no credit cards.
Yeah. So then you're fine. If he doesn't know your credit card and it's not set up. Now, one of the things they do, it's by default this is turned on, but one of the things they do is they prevent kids from doing in-app purchases because this became a problem. Kids would buy a game and then say, I want the loot box. And the kid doesn't have any notion of how much it costs or anything. They just say, yeah, give me that, give me that, give me that. And then grandma gets the bill in a month. But generally speaking, that's off by default. I don't think you're going to have a problem with that either because Apple got a lot of trouble for that.
Now, do all these 24 games, will they take up like a lot of memory or a lot of...
Some do. Some games are big and some aren't. Chances are the games he downloaded aren't going to be that big.
Motorcycle games and airplane flying games.
They might be. I'll tell you how you could find out. You can go into your settings, and under General, you'll see there are two places you can find out how much space is used up. It's under the General settings. You can do About, and it'll just tell you how big your device is and how much stuff is on it. And if you want more granular, you can go to iPad Storage under General, and it will show you how big each app is, sorted by the largest to the smallest. And if anything is really big or you're running out of space, just delete the ones that you don't,
And if I take it out and he comes back and puts it back on, will he be where he left off, or does he have to start from
No,
zero?
he'll have to start over. So don't delete it unless you think he's done with it. But it's yours, Grandma's, and Grandma, you didn't ask you, so I think you're well within your rights. Say, no. Wait, hold on there, boyo. You can't load up Grandma's iPad with gumes. Pick 2 or 3 that we'll leave on there. It's probably all right, though. Go look at your iPhone storage. I bet you have plenty of space, or iPad storage, because there's plenty of space on there.
Well, I was surprised that one said you had earned $600 since you were away, and I thought, how could he earn $600?
Oh,
what is he doing?
It's game dollars. I wish it were real dollars. I would be, tell me that game, because I want that. It's game dollars.
Okay, all right.
So a lot of these games, what happens is, and that's so they keep you playing. He's hatching eggs, or he's harvesting tomatoes, or he's doing something that runs in the background, and they put up little notifications because they want you to go back to the game. That's going to annoy Grandma a lot, but once you delete the game, you won't see that anymore.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Leo.
Yeah. This happens all the time. This is why I really often will tell people, get an iPad or get a Chromebook, especially if you're going to have kids using it, because if this were a Windows machine, somewhat true also of a Mac, but if this were a Windows machine, I would now have to really comb through it and make sure that in the process of downloading these games, he didn't download anything else. Because a lot of the free games, they come with wrappers, and then the wrappers, all sorts of adware and spyware, and sometimes even malware, and you got to scour the thing. If a kid is on your Windows machine, create an account for them and make sure it's not an administrator account. It's a limited user or standard user account. If you do that, he won't be able to install anything. It's a little different with the iPad. The iPad is really still a single user device, so it's presumed if you're logged in, if you've unlocked the iPad, you can do whatever you want. It's yours. So that's the other flip side of that is because it doesn't have multi-user accounts on the iPad yet. He's got Grandma's account. Just check, probably worth doing, to make sure that you have a PIN for in-app purchases on the store. That way he won't be tempted to download something and then buy stuff. I'm not sure where you put that. Let me just look real quickly. You can make it so that he can't buy something unless he knows the magic PIN. Let's see. I'm gonna have to look through the settings because I don't have any young people using my iPad. You can also, and this is a very handy tip, there's something called guided access. It's specifically for this. It's actually really for much younger kids, but if you're going to give a 2-year-old or 3-year-old an iPad, you don't want them, not intentionally, but randomly messing around with it. So you could turn on guided access and you can pin a single app to the front. They won't be able to get out of that without a special knowledge. So they're stuck playing Candy Crush or whatever it is until Grandma says they can do something else. So, yeah, I don't blame you for being worried, but it was fine. Let the young'uns play with the iPad. Generally, that's safe. As long as they don't drop it, you're okay. And that's one of the things I like about the iPad. Apple really protects you against malware and spyware and adware. You'd have to really, maybe you have a super smart 8-year-old and he knows how to jailbreak your iPad, but I think that's unlikely. I don't think you need to worry about that too much. The Giz Wiz coming up with some junky gadget, no, I shouldn't say that. Some gizmo or gadget in just a few minutes, but I have some more time for a few more calls. 8888 Ask Leo, the phone number. And again, everything we talk about. In fact, you know what? I'm gonna find how to turn on that in-app purchases or turn off those in-app purchases on the iPad, and I'll put that up at the show notes at techguylabs.com. That's free, no sign up. Every show is there. You can even leave your comments. So if you have some thoughts about how to protect Grandma, techguylabs.com. On we go with the show, and it's Risa in Orange County, California. Hi, Risa.
Hi, Leo. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I keep telling myself I want to go dark, and what does that mean? I want to get off of all electronics.
I don't blame you. Yeah.
I'm just over all of it, and I want to go old school, landline. I'm in the market for a low-end laptop, and I was listening to you recommend the Chromebook.
Yeah, for somebody who wants to go dark, a Chromebook probably is a good choice, as long as you don't mind that it's from Google. It kind of depends on why you're going dark.
Well, let me start at the beginning. I'm probably not going to make any sense here, but I'm going to try.
No, that's fine.
Initially, I'd like to get rid of my cable bill.
Okay.
Now.
So you don't really want to go dark because you're going to you're going to watch Netflix and stuff like that, right?
Right. And I have 2 granddaughters that I'd like to talk to, and they live on the East Coast.
So you need to have Skype or FaceTime or something like that. Okay.
Right. And I have an Apple phone. I mean, I've had an iPhone for a long time. So I just kind of came out of the corporate world, and I never got a laptop once I left corporate. I'm still working, but I don't need a laptop anymore.
So for all the things you still want to do, you do need internet access.
Right. And so
what you want to do is cut the cord, is what we call it.
Yes.
Which means you just want to sever the relationship with your cable company. Unfortunately, in most areas, your cable company still has the fastest internet access. So in most cases, people stop paying for TV, but they still have a relationship with the cable company because that's how they're getting their internet. But you can investigate other.
If you need a landline and internet, what do you recommend? I think the gal that I spoke to before you, she had recommended Sonic.
Well, it depends what's available in your neck of the woods. I don't know if Sonic is in Orange County. They're probably not. So that's one thing to investigate is alternate internet service providers. Now, honestly, who's the phone company in your neck of the woods? Is it Frontier or AT&T?
I think it's both.
Okay. Frontier took over from Spectrum, which was the old cable company. So I think Frontier's probably your cable company now. But so there's a difference between the phone.
Cable is actually through Spectrum.
It's still Spectrum. Yeah, Spectrum sold off some and didn't sell off some. So you have Spectrum, you have AT&T. There's a difference. The cable company can offer phone service, sort of. It will feel just like...
I've been paying for that for 2 years, but I don't use it.
Yeah, it feels like phone service because you got a phone, but it's really coming in over the cable line. It's actually internet phone service.
Right.
So it's not really real phone service. And one of the advantages, you and I remember the good old days of, Ma Bell. One of the advantages of the old school phone service was you didn't need electricity to use it. you do need electricity to use your Spectrum phone. If the power goes out, unless it's battery backed up, and a lot of times they do put a battery somewhere in the garage, but they don't maintain it. And after a couple of years, it may not even work anymore. They don't care. But in the old days, Ma Bell was heavily regulated. And one of the chief concerns of government regulators is that it be a reliable communication system, even in emergencies, even if the power was out, even if it was a serious storm, that you would be able to reach emergency services. So they made all sorts of requirements. And one of the requirements is that phone works without electricity. It's powered from the central office.
And that's what I'm after.
That's what you should get. And that will not ever come from a cable company or an internet service provider. That will come from Ma Bell, whoever Ma Bell is in your area. Every area has an incumbent local carrier, an ILEC. It's probably AT&T in your area, but I don't know off the top of my head. Yeah. If that name rings a bell, that's probably who it is. So you would get, and I would just get Lifeline service. Get the cheapest service. It'd be $20 a month because you're not going to make phone calls on it even. It's there in an emergency. It's there just, as a backup. So you want the cheapest one you can get.
Personally, Leo, have an old-fashioned landline?
I do, only because our alarm company required it.
Okay.
I have no use for it, and I've never made a call on it. In fact, I don't think I can make outbound calls on it. I think I got such a cheap service that, you can make outbound local calls. Otherwise, the burglar alarm wouldn't work. And, of course, you can always call 911 on these things. So, yeah, I do. Sure. I do. And that's the point, is that you can reach 911.
So back to the initial, getting rid of cable. When you get rid of that, I'm getting rid of my internet phone, I'm getting rid of internet, and I'm getting rid of this.
Right.
All these.
So now you're going to want to go out and find an alternate internet service provider. Honestly, and this isn't my preference, it's just the way it worked out in this country because these companies are so rich and powerful. They were able to essentially, in my opinion, bribe and strong-arm the FCC into letting them establish monopolies. So in most areas of the country, the fastest internet service is the cable company. They have the biggest pipe. In some areas, and you may be lucky, Orange County is likely to be lucky, there are fiber providers as well. That's what Sonic is. But it's expensive. They have to dig trenches and put in glass fiber optics lines. It was, Sonic is a very affordable service, but it's expensive for them to put it in. They only charge $40 a month for 1 gigabit per second downloads, which is really, really fast. Faster than your cable company. So that's worth an investigation. I don't think Sonic's in Orange County, unfortunately, but you certainly could go somewhere like, I would recommend broadbandreports.com. You enter in your zip code, and it will tell you what providers are available to you.
Broadbandreports.com.
If Broadband Reports says you can get a fiber system, that would be worth looking into. It often is less expensive, but it's just hit or miss in the entire country. Only a few areas are lucky enough to have that as an option. So at this point, then I get a landline. I've obviously got to get a phone and find somebody that I can get that. AT&T. Yep.
Okay, and then I'm going to look into internet service. So I check.
You gotta have the internet service because then otherwise you can't call your kids across the country, right? That's
right.
You're going to use FaceTime to do that. You need that.
Okay. Now, TV and laptop. I know it's a smart TV is what I need. I have TVs, but I don't think they're smart TVs.
Yeah, those will be. So a smart TV merely means it's connected to the internet. And honestly, you don't need a smart TV. You just need a streaming box. My recommendation is Roku, ROKU. It connects to the internet and then outputs TV.
Is that a one-time charge for Roku?
Yep. The Roku is cheap. It's $100. Then, depending on what channels you want. So Netflix is $11 a month. HBO is $15 a month. You can buy a la carte the channels you want. There are free channels also.
So before you know it, you're back up to your cable bill.
Oh yeah, you're not going to save any money. If you're doing this is the dirty little secret of cord cutting. The cable companies saw this coming a mile off. So they slowly racked up the price of internet to the point where they're going to make the same amount of money.
Okay.
So you're not sticking it to the man exactly, especially if you get internet from the man. All you're doing is, kind of jockeying around. You don't save money. You don't.
Okay.
But you get the feeling of power. This is the unfortunate truth of this. If you're careful, Netflix gives you a lot of entertainment for $11, and you say, I'm going to just do that. Or you buy YouTube TV, $50 a month, and that gives you your local channels and a few premium channels. You do something like that. Yeah, but you're right. It's going to end up costing you pretty much what your cable cost. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Everybody dance. It's time for the Giz Wiz. Dick B.D. Dicky DeBartolo, Mad Magazine's maddest writer, and the Giz Wiz. We were just talking because Dick sent me a nice birthday note via email, and I realized I'm not on Facebook. So how do you wish me happy birthday? I'm impressed that you found an alternate route.
No, I did. I did. I literally searched everywhere for you, and I thought, wait a minute, he's not on there.
It's actually awesome because on previous birthdays, I would get 100, 200, 300 greetings, and it would just I feel like, do you have to respond to everyone? Can you do a mass response, or is that cheating? It just felt like a burden. So
okay.
It was actually literally one of the reasons I considered before giving up Facebook.
All right. Well, first I emailed Jamma B and said, can you run by Leo's house and give him this message?
I don't want to be reachable.
No. Well, you were unreachable.
And another hint, and I'm glad nobody did this, do not get one of those online birthday cards, an
oh my
e-card,
gosh.
Because you're giving my email address to some website, which is then going to bombard me with spam.
Yes.
So that's not a gift either. It is, but it's a gift that keeps on giving in the wrong way.
No, I did that 10 years ago, and I think last year they finally stopped, realizing he's not using our service.
Yeah, you get bugged, I get bugged, everybody gets bugged. Now, Dick is a gadget hound. We call him the Gizmo Wizard, or Giz Wiz, because every week he joins us with some crazy gizmo or gadget. What do you have today?
Well, this is the perfect combo of disco and gadgets.
What?
Okay?
It's your dream come true.
The dream come true. And a dynamite stocking stuffer, okay? So in a disco, what's the biggest attraction? The mirrored ball.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ball. So you need a mirrored ball, you need a motor that rotates, and you need spotlights. Or you need the disco USB phone light.
Okay. It's half a disco ball.
Now you can put it into a phone, or you can put it into an external phone charger.
Wait, it has a lightning jack on it?
Leo, it is unbelievable. It comes with a lightning jack, with a USB-C jack, and a micro USB. What I have plugged it into an external battery charger because it has USB. Yeah. And it has a microphone, or as they call it, the voice activation sensor. So it will light on and off to your voice.
I got to see this.
Oh, okay.
You did a video. It's on your website at gizwiz.biz.
Go a little bit in.
It's bright.
Yeah.
It's blinding.
It's blinding bright. And then I walk into the bathroom and shut the lights off so that you can see.
It's a disco, a party in your bathroom.
Yeah.
So it shines on the wall, too.
On the wall, on your face. And 3 of them. And each one has all those adapters.
How much?
$13.
Oh, I want this. Oh, Dick, are you ill? You've got red spots all over your face.
Oh, yeah. It's something that's going around that I can't get. I put lotion on, and then suddenly the spots are in another place on my face. I cannot.
I got to have this. This is awesome.
Yeah. I paid $12.88 for 3 of them, and they come in 3 separate boxes.
Does it?
Oh, absolutely! It's great to music. It's great to music. And if you have no music, it goes to your voice.
How much is this going to kill my battery life?
I have no idea, but I've been using it in an external battery charger for about an hour, and it's still the 4
I figure
LEDs are still lit.
LEDs are notoriously,
exactly, and I think it just has 3 or 4 LEDs in this, so it's not power hungry.
I'm going to plug this into my car, so I just drive down.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
USB mini disco light 3-packs, party lights, sound activated, Halloween DJ, disco stage lights, multicolors, LED car, atmosphere light, magic strobe light for Christmas parties, pool, club, church, karaoke, or wedding. That's the actual title.
Oh, yes, you can tell that's an Amazon title.
Yeah, really the best thing to do is go to gizwiz.biz, click the Giz Wiz visits the tech guy link, and you'll get a link to Amazon, and you can get the video of Dick playing with it. And, of course, all the other things Dick mentions, not just here, but on all the shows he appears on, including World News Now. And don't forget his podcast, Giz Wiz Podcast, at gizwiz.tv. And, it is the holiday season. Yes. So if you really like somebody, maybe go to that Mad Collectibles site. Dick has a lot of cool Mad Collectibles, and he offers them for sale. Or if you have somebody you don't like, give them Giz Wiz Garbage, which is stuff you can wear. And Dick has a couple of little stores on his website. My favorite gift, the book is no longer in print, but Dick still has several thousand copies under his desk.
Exactly.
Dick wrote
selling at the warehouse.
A wonderful memoir of Mad Magazine called Good Days in Mad. And if you know somebody who is a Mad fanatic and who is mourning the imminent demise of the greatest humor magazine of all time, you've got to get them that for the holidays. It is a welcome gift, I know, because I keep trying to give mine away.
That's why I put your name on it.
Giz Wiz. Every year, Dick gives me another one, and man, they're piling up here now. Giz Wiz. No, I love it. I have a hardback and a paperback edition, and it's really a cherished part of my dummy bookshelf on my office set. Thank you, Dickie D. Happy holidays.
Buddy.
Did you have a good Thanksgiving? Did you do the pineapple upside down?
Oh, no, it was all pumpkin pie. Dennis likes pumpkin pie. I surprised him with the pumpkin pie. He surprised me with a pumpkin pie.
That's straight out of Henry.
Yes, exactly.
I hope you didn't sell the pumpkin patch to buy the pumpkin pie.
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We didn't.
Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll talk to you again before the holidays. It's so great.
Absolutely.
To have you on.
See you next week.
Well, that's soon. Okay. GizWiz.biz, gizwiz.tv for the podcast. I was talking about Chad, your co-host, because Johnny Jet was saying, what was the best travel gift you ever got? And Chad, years ago, gave Lisa and me a luggage scale, and we still use it to this day. It's the best travel gift ever. So
no, they're great.
He's a great guy. Great. Yeah, they're very useful. Dick has some interesting travel habits. My favorite is the one where you bring the underwear that you're ready to throw out.
Everything. Shoes, jackets.
I actually do that now. When I'm packing,
you do it now?
When I'm packing, I say, what sneakers are most burnt out and done with? And see, then when you're at the end of the trip, you throw them out, and you have more room in your luggage to bring back gifts to your loved ones. And then the best part is the hotel mails it back all pressed and cleaned.
Yes. Make sure you don't throw it away in the hotel, because that has happened to me.
Here's your ratty old underwear. We pressed it. That'll be $45 for FedEx.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Dickie D.
Okay, buddy.
Great
I'll talk to you. Take care.
Take care. Thank you to Lady Laura, our musical director, for spinning the discs. Thank you to Kim Schaffer for taking your calls. She does such a good job. We really appreciate her help. But you know who I appreciate more than anybody? You. I said it at Thanksgiving. I am grateful for people who listen to this show, because without it, Daddy couldn't afford a turkey. So please, I may be a turkey, but keep listening, will you? And thanks to all our callers, too. You're a big part of the show. I will be back next week, or in some cases tomorrow. Depends on your local station. But no matter what, you'll be able to get the answers to all the questions from today's show on our website for free. No sign up. TechGuyLabs.com. This is Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great Geek Week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWIT, T-W-I-T. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.